This is the Troll live with Justin Freakin.
I had every intention of taking the night off, and the Discord stream shamed me. I felt very harassed in my own Discord. So here I am. No, like I thought I had a new stereo system, but the receiver does not work for my purposes, so I'm not going to be able to use it. I've got some very nice speakers over here against the wall that you guys can't see, and I've really been wanting to make use of them. I need to get a receiver, and I thought I had one. My fly is unzipped. I've been out in public running around. I've been running errands. That's why I didn't think I would be here. My fly is unzipped. Lenny, Warlord, Holiday, welcome in. I'm very unprepared. But we're still going to have a great show, guys. I promise. There's going to be a team effort. You guys are going to help me out. We're going to make it happen. Teamwork makes the dream work. I've still got shit I'm supposed to be doing right now to get this ship running. I do have news. Don't worry. We're going to find out what that news be doing. I'm not going to half-ass it and just do police chases. I've got police chases if it comes down to that, though. Did I do the... it's a freaking Wednesday. I don't even know how I come on the stream anymore. What? I'm Justin Freakin. It's a freaking Wednesday. We're going to go to New York here in just a second. Oregon gal, good evening. We've got protests taking place live at Columbia University. I'm not high enough for this shit or something. No, I'm incredibly high. That could be the problem. Good evening, Oregon gal. Welcome in. It's a freaking Wednesday. Oh, I don't have shit to. I do have shit to run down. We do not have a pope yet. Still black smoke. A cop has been shot in Philadelphia. Apparently, the cop is chastising a man that was involved in a school fight that led to a cop being shot. How in the fuck does this shit happen? We've got body cam footage of Rodney Hinton Jr., our boy in Ohio who is accused of killing a cop. Trump is our new pope. Flash, good evening. Welcome in. Let's go to Columbia here because she just started reporting.
Preparing for final exams. These disruptions of our campus and academic activities will not be tolerated.
Came back on.
Individuals found to be in violation of university rules and policies.
Clinically, good evening.
Disciplinary consequences. In addition to that, the president issued a statement just a short time ago saying that most of the protesters who were on campus in that library, they do not believe that they were actually students. So that is something now that
yeah, but that's coming from the White House.
to look into, because they have to figure out how did these people make it onto campus, because of all of these protests here. 9 times out of 10, they have security out here, and you have to show your ID in order to get onto campus. So somehow,
I love that they're drowning out the news reporter.
This campus without an ID, or maybe they had a fake ID. So the university is looking into that.
Perhaps, if they're not students, they could be other people affiliated with the campus somehow, but not students.
One young woman standing here, she's been chanting for quite some time, screaming it to the top of her lungs about freeing Palestine. She's one of the folks here participating in the demonstration. She was obviously on the outside instead of the inside. Now, why is she chanting right here by us? Because she sees us talking, she sees the mic flag, she sees the camera, she sees me talking, so she's trying to do our best to interrupt what we're doing.
I love it.
But that's not going to happen. So in the meantime,
Anonymously, welcome in. This is live.
give you a little more view of what's happening here. You can see here lots of NYPD again, including cop brass. Those are the
Probably way more cops than there are protesters.
waiting outside of Butler Library, and we're going to wait and see if some more of those protesters come out. But again,
So apparently,
at least 50 have been arrested, and we're not sure, once again, if they're going to have to go through the court system or if they are going to just be issued a summons.
there are still protesters inside of the library.
Have been arrested, which means the university is not putting up with any more nonsense anymore the way that they had previously and last spring. And again,
What?
because the Trump administration put pressure on the university to say if you want your $400 million back in federal funding, then you have to crack down on what's going on there. I don't want to see another mask on campus. That's a new policy. I don't want to see anybody taking over any buildings or any rooms. Obviously, that's a policy. In addition to some
I feel like this reporting might be a little biased.
changes, in addition that they made here, was they hired 35 public safety officers for the campus. Now they have full power, police powers, just like the NYPD does. They are exactly the same. They're on campus, they can arrest people, they can put them in handcuffs, and they have to go down to the court system here
That's not something to brag about.
and go through the court system. So these are all new policies that have been implemented as a result of the Trump administration putting pressure on the universities to crack down on anti-Semitism on campus. And that's pretty much the latest from here. Continue to watch us. Again, I think they might be bringing out more protesters. Let me see. Does it look like it? No? Does it look like they're going to be... Give me 1 second here. Does it look like they're going to bring out more protesters? Possibly? Yeah, it looks like they're going to bring out... Yeah, they're going to be bringing more out. Okay. So I don't know. Let me just stick with you here for a second. What's it? We're just waiting to hear. I'm talking to some folks over here. We're just waiting to see if they're going to be... Okay, wait a second. Here we go. Here's the SRGs. Now they've got the helmets on. You can see they got the zip ties. The zip ties are the white plastic ties. They are the
She's so giddy about it.
handcuffs that they use to arrest protesters. And they're going in the opposite direction now, so my guess is maybe everybody is out. But I don't know if you can see that bus there. Dave, go ahead, push into that bus, that NYPD bus. That's loaded with people who've been placed under arrest. And so what they end up doing is they end up taking them down to Manhattan Criminal Court in Lower Manhattan. And the chanters, I don't know if you can hear them, but some of them are still around us, chanting Free Palestine.
Yeah.
They oftentimes call the NYPD or any other police
Pigs.
KKK.
They are.
And they say that the media, they call us all liars. So,
Well, you specifically. I stand up for my fellow media. You are very biased.
we have some more SRG team members coming toward us. All right, it looks like it's quieted down here just for a moment. So for now,
She called it an anti-Israel protest,
for
and
now, that's the very latest from here. Again, we're on the campus. We're right outside the campus.
I feel like that is not an accurate statement.
Butler Library, where more than 100 protesters took over one of the rooms in the library.
You never frame a pro-Israel protest as anti-Palestine, and you could make a hell of a lot more of a case
Very latest. Continue to watch.
that being pro-Israel is indeed being anti-Palestine, because
protesters
they're trying to wipe them off the face of the earth.
outside and-
Israel declaring
That's the very
they
latest
could just
now.
take over all of Gaza. Are they going to send it back? Oh, we might just be sticking with a live shot here. That was her hit for the news station. So once again, this is live in New York City. At least 50 protesters have been arrested on the campus, Columbia University. and a pro-Palestine demonstration, an anti-genocide demonstration. The Discord stream shamed me, my lord. So, good evening. Welcome in. I'm here. We finding out what that news be doing. Live on the campus. You were the nicest one. Everyone else stream shamed me. I'm just playing. I thought I had a stereo to install and wire up and shit, and I don't. It does not work for my purposes. I've got these gigantic speakers over here I'd really like to hook up at some point in time. I thought I was going to do some wiring tonight. I was out running around with Curiouser as well. Once again, over 50 protesters. Looking awful peaceful. They were occupying a library. Still more, 50 so far. And there are apparently still more inside of the library. The news reporter said the White House said a majority of them were not students. Here we go. We have more protesters. Yeah, these college-age children with backpacks, they're totally not students. Oh, they're absolutely lying. Who else would be protesting at a college campus other than students? Now, it's possible that they have students from other campuses. That some of the people are support staff at the college. Maybe they're recent graduates that work at the college. Perhaps teachers participating in protests. These are all common. So, and even so, to say that the majority weren't students, I doubt that's accurate. But even if it was, there are perfectly valid reasons. They said students at Columbia. That's why I threw in could be students from a community college that wanted to get involved, and that was the closest protest to them.
I need another camera battery.
Oh, you do? Okay. I'm going to call Keith and find out where he is.
They're going to call Keith. I believe this dude is NYPD. He might be having something having to do with the campus, but hell of a beard. If he is NYPD, ACAB means him too.
Okay. But keep in mind, like even this conversation, it's hot.
Look at these stupid pigs.
And it's picking up on this too. Okay? Because they're screaming all this stuff live. Okay? So I'm gonna go to the truck. I'll be back.
Yeah, I think maybe this dude with the beard is from the college. And more protesters being let out. There were 50 when we first came on. Another maybe 10 have been let out. This is the library for Columbia University. I believe the reporter said next week is finals week. So some of the busiest times for a college. And that's why you'd schedule a demonstration for such a time. The very beginning of the semester and the very end of the semester are the busiest times at a college. Because people slack throughout the semester. I love the protesters are chanting every time they bring out a demonstrator. It appears that they're going to transport them to the night court. My lord, I started off my first several years as quite the overachiever. Then I had this woman I fell in love with. She kind of broke my heart, and then I kind of had the depression for a couple of semesters. I was all up in my fee-fees and didn't do so well. It feels kind of stupid now, but at the time, you know, oh, woe is me. Oh no, why they gotta do this to me? She cute. She wears that piggy outfit well.
A titty slap!
Oh, now come on, Flash. I can fix her. Socialist Dawn. Yeah, it wasn't the partying that got me. It wasn't the partying that got me on it. I mean, I'm probably not gonna date her, right? It's just a hookup. I've never been with a cop. Lenny has never had a woman break his heart. However, one girl did give him a hernia. Bravo. I can make her denounce the badge and maybe do some industrial sabotage. Come on. I don't think I have. I have a thing for strong women. I don't know if it's necessarily authority. Look at the eyes. Her eyes are on point. Her eye makeup. And she's got pretty eyes. And she's got tats. Come on, she's cool. I'd fuck a cop. I saw somebody with the name Trooper on Grindr. I clicked on it the other day. I was curious. I don't think I have a sub or dom thing. I don't know. I'd be willing to explore with the right person. Just throwing that out there if the right person's listening. What? Like this cop. She's got some nice lashes. Clinically would spit roaster with me. That's weird. That's weird of you to say, clinically. I'm not turning it down, though. Battle Opossum!
You live in sexual anarchy?
No, I get kind of misogynist. I get kind of racist, too. Like, I am aware that I'm tiptoeing a line, and I cross over it a lot. See, I'm a lover, I'm not a fighter. I can't do pain. Every time a woman has asked me to try to do something, you know, dominating or BDSM, I always end up saying something that like hurts their feelings. making them feel uncomfortable. When I try to role play, I laugh my ass off. I'm not good at those things. I'm good at make love to your woman. If any monogamous person can be sexual anarchy, it's you. I'm not mean, I'm passionate. I was gonna turn it, and then the woman cop showed up, but she hasn't. Okay, she hasn't showed us her pretty eyes in a while. Yeah, seriously, Flash. I am not good at roleplay. Oh, look at her. She's cute. So we'll check back in with the protest. Once again, this is live at Columbia University, pro-Palestinian protest. Demonstrators occupying the library of Columbia University. They've arrested at least 60 people at this point. We do not know how many more demonstrators are inside the library facility, or if they have cleared it yet. They've still got the bus sitting out there. We'll check back in. I'm going to hit the content warning on this because this is going to piss you off. Several of you have been with me a long time. About 3 years ago, we watched one of the most egregious cop videos that I have ever seen in my life. They said they pulled the man over for a suspected DUI. They pulled him out of his car, and they beat the fucking shit out of him for an hour. We watched it because there were cameras on the lights. We didn't get like body camera. The cops didn't release this. They were like municipal cameras on the city lights. And we saw them beat the shit out of him for an hour. Egregious. Apparently, he was fucking one of the officers' ex-girlfriends or ex-wives or something like that. The trial for at least 3 of the officers, I don't know how many people were on trial. At least 3 of them ended today, and this is upsetting.
Former MPD officers in the beating death of Tyree Nichols. Now, we've been covering this case from beginning till right now, which seems to be the end, as we've gotten word that the jury has reached a verdict. We have not heard that verdict yet. The jury is being seated. The courtroom is being seated. We want to take a live look at the courtroom here in just a second and give you an idea of what it looks like there. This is a live look in the courtroom now. We want to stop what we're doing and let you hear what's happening in the courtroom right now.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, polling the jury. The court will read the verdict as follows. In indictment 2300241, State of Tennessee versus Darius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith. If counsel would like to stand with their clients. The verdicts read as follows. Count 1, second-degree murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tadarius Bean, not guilty. Count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant, Demetrius Haley, not guilty. Count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant, Justice Smith, not guilty. Count 2. Aggravated assault, acting in concert. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tadarius Bean, not guilty. Count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant, Demetrius Haley, not guilty. Count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant, Justin Smith, not guilty. Count 3. Aggravated kidnapping with bodily injury. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tadarius Bean, not guilty. Count 3. We, the jury, find the defendant, Demetrius Haley, not guilty. Count 3. We, the jury, find the defendant, Justin Smith, not guilty. Count 4. Aggravated kidnapping with a deadly weapon. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tadarius Bean, not guilty. Count 4. We, the jury, find the defendant, Demetrius Haley, not guilty. Count 4. We, the jury, find the defendant, Justin Smith, not guilty. Count 5. Official misconduct, unauthorized exercise of official authority. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tadarius Bean, not guilty.
Not even on that.
5. We, the jury, find the defendant, Demetrius Haley.
The fuck? Tier 2, welcome
We,
in.
the jury.
If you do not remember this case, let me get you a little refresher here. This happened in Memphis in 2022.
The case in chief, we're going to go ahead and allow you all to step out. If you can please leave your notes in your chairs. Also, as we've talked about before, and we will say over and over again, please do
I thought I got a...
with anyone. I know you've heard a little bit.
Tyree Nichols is the victim's name. We're going to ask for justice for Tyree.
This is closing arguments, I guess.
This happened because these officers were overcome, reason 1. And reason 2, because they didn't know that pole camera was there. Justice for Tyree.
I'm sorry, it happened in January of 2023.
3 strikes with the baton. And now you'll start seeing punches to the face. And these men have a duty to protect them. They have a duty to protect them, so what do they do when the emergency personnel respond? Do they tell them, look, he's gotten some hits to his head? Nope.
This guy doesn't have much of a presence.
He fell and hit his head? Nope. They tell the emergency personnel, oh, he must be on drugs or something. He got pepper sprayed. What not a worm? Hey, check his head out.
It focused on statistics related to crime spikes in certain areas. And Team 1 was sent to these dangerous places to some...
You would think the tape would have been more than enough. We watched the whole goddamn thing.
Like I said, not monsters, but men. Overcome by anger and
This was in Memphis, Tennessee.
Overcome by the moment. Who literally beat a man to death.
He died 3 days later.
Unit, which, by the way, is considered the best of the team in the Scorpion unit, and he's the youngest member. And you'll get a chance to see what Tyree Nichols has done. And their work is important work. Police work is dirty work. It just is. It doesn't mean that the men are dirty, and he can.
Yeah, it does.
Say, I'm not calling them monsters. He can't call them monsters.
They are
Y'all
monsters.
got common sense. He can't call them monsters because the evidence does not bear the.
Oh, the cops had a good attorney.
Monsters. He
And
refused.
Tyree Nichols didn't. That's what it comes down to.
Arrest. He was actively resisting the whole time, and he does. And you can ask the question.
Yeah, that's probably the state prosecutor.
Does he ignore the lawful commands of
the DA
involved? Was he actively resisting by running and walking and pulling away from me? And you will get a chance to see the actions at 6705 Ross Ridge prior to the interaction with Detective Bean. So, you heard during Mr. Hagerman's presentation the sad realities of it.
And I remember it vividly. They just opened his door and pulled him out of the car.
His life was lost. Simply saying that that person's life was not lost because these officers had some bone to pick or some gripe or trying to do something punitive to this person. Simply trying to do their job based off of the information that they had.
They sent text messages with pictures of him after the beating. That's what's wild. Here, let's get this is CBS News. A breakdown of the case. Did the text messages not get submitted into evidence?
Arguments continue today in the state trial of 3 former Memphis police officers charged in the deadly 2023 beating of Tyree Nichols. The defense began its final arguments yesterday after the state rested its case.
You know what happens right after that third time he says, "Help me"? Defendant Haley runs in and kicks him, and then Emmett Martin kicks him again. And those are the last words we hear from Tyree. "Help me."
Nichols was motivated to flee and fight. He's got dope, stolen credit cards, and stolen IDs. That's a motivation for him to act like he did.
Oh, bullshit.
All right, for more on this, I'm joined by CBS News legal contributor Caroline Polisi. Caroline, good morning. What stood out to you from yesterday's closing arguments? We just heard snippets there, but what really was significant in your view?
Yeah, well, you heard the prosecution's closing arguments there, really appealing more to the emotional side. Just really hard video to watch. That Tyree Nichols' last words were calling for his mom. Remember, this beating took place just about 100 yards away from his mother's home. He had fled from a traffic stop. What stood out to me, we're going to hear 2 more closing arguments today. There were only 3 officers on trial for this beating. 2 of those officers have pleaded guilty, one of whom cooperated with the prosecution and testified during the course of this trial that what they did was wrong and sort of.
Oh my God. So one of them pled guilty and testified against the other cops. It was that clear to him that the evidence was against him, and they still got off on all the charges. Just wow. Quesadilla, good evening.
Spoke to, the issue here is not only the beating, Errol, which was horrific, but also their failure to tell the paramedics when they arrived on the scene that there had been significant blows to Mr. Nichols' head. Had they disclosed that information, which they had a duty to do because they have a duty of care to save people in that instance, perhaps Mr. Nichols' life could have been saved. So these are really high stakes arguments. We're going to hear the 2 other closing arguments today from the defense, a rebuttal from the prosecution. And I suspect we'll hear the same arguments the defense has been making, which is that, look, being a Memphis police officer is a difficult job, it's a messy job, and it's a dangerous job. That Mr. Nichols was resisting arrest, although, there is no evidence of that. He did flee the scene.
No evidence.
The fatal beating took place upon, getting him.
When you say fled the scene, once again, they came straight up to his car, opened the door, and pulled him the fuck out. He had every reason to be scared of what the fuck they were getting ready to do to him.
In custody after he had fled that traffic stop. but, you know, there's no evidence pointing to Mr. Nichols being a threat to the officers, but that's what they are arguing, that they followed their duty and that they behaved reasonably.
And so what becomes the central or key issue that the jury needs to consider?
Yeah, so this case is a lot of body cam footage. So, you know, the case really speaks for itself. A lot of the trial was spent sort of narrating that body cam footage. Remember, there are 5 officers charged in this, so we get to see different angles of what happened. Different officers came upon the scenes at different times, seeing when the paramedics came on the scene, what they did. You know, the cooperating officer, you know, testified to, he actually, initially they used pepper spray and a tape.
Hello, welcome in.
Mr. Nichols
T-minus.
Fled. One of the officers actually used pepper spray and sprayed himself. He got so angry that he then, when he found Mr. Nichols thereafter, he used the baton to beat him. That was really important testimony, as well as, you know, again, the physical locations, because this took place over the course of several minutes. There's a lot of chaos. So explaining to the jury what you're seeing, whose body cam footage you're seeing, and then really the nail in the coffin in this case was that cop cam that the officers didn't know was recording them, and they thereafter tried to cover that up. Remember, there was a federal prosecution in this case as well for civil rights violations.
Well, a quick decision by the jury means it was easy for them. We'll see how long it takes. Caroline Polisi, thank you so much.
I can't believe it was not guilty on all counts in a case that was crystal fucking clear. Yeah, you wonder why people might want to run over cops. You wonder why people might want to run over cops. Let's go to Ohio, where our boy, we've got newly released body cam footage. I knew he was giving the cops what for the other night.
Step down slow.
Long crime.
Okay.
That's Rodney Hinton Jr. on his way to court to answer to charges that he ran his car into a sheriff's deputy hours after meeting with police to view body camera footage of an officer shooting his son a day earlier. What does the body-worn camera video reveal? I take a look at the new footage just released.
The Crime Fix.
Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Body camera footage of Rodney Hinton Jr. has Jason's death. Then it was time for him to be taken to jail after being charged with aggravated murder.
We're gonna get you where you're going, okay?
So the cops killed his son.
Stand up for me, sir.
They said he had a gun. I don't know.
I'll put this around.
You can't tell if he had a gun from the... It's not body camera footage. I don't think they released that. Like a third-party camera we were seeing. No, it was the cop's body camera footage.
I got a double off your ankles as well, sir. You got your...
Get to some questioning.
Neighboring county, it's Claremont County.
Welcome to the bank. Alright, the easiest way is just turn around and slide in.
To face me and then sit down there and slide.
Considered attempted suicide? No. You want to hurt? We're good.
Do your hands for me?
Deputy was going to be gone forever. Tried to speak with him.
Thank you.
Is there a case that's going to be called?
Look how many cops are at his hearing.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett.
Fuck each and every one of them.
Hearing before today.
Got to have a seat. Got to have a seat.
Have a seat, sir. Sit down.
Have a seat. That's my brother.
Then a detective testified about what he says Hinton did last Friday when he drove into Deputy Henderson.
Tell me what he did after he stopped.
So based on witness statements as well as the video, the vehicle accelerated quickly, proceeded eastbound, crossed into the oncoming lanes of traffic when there was no longer traffic to obstruct his travel, crossed into the oncoming lanes of traffic, went to the left of those little stanchions that are in the middle of the roadway, into the oncoming lanes, through the intersection, directly at where Deputy Henderson was standing, and struck Deputy Henderson and the metal utility pole on the northeast corner of the intersection.
Okay. Were there any evidence of skid marks?
No, there were no indications at any point that
Cop did not shit himself.
Stop or otherwise avoid Deputy Henderson.
And
if you have skid marks, you might need to wash your ass.
At this point?
At this time, yes.
Okay. And does it appear from your review of the video that he headed straight for Deputy Henderson?
Yes.
And did any of the multiple witnesses that you spoke to and the people that were in the vehicles that were surrounding him, the people that were on scene, did anyone indicate that any attempt to slow down or deviate his path straight to Deputy Henderson?
No, everybody said that he accelerated and was traveling at a high rate of speed all the way up until the time that he struck Deputy Henderson.
Hinton's attorney argued that he should get bail, saying he may have mental health problems.
Judge, one of the factors with respect to the Ohio Revised Code in detaining a person with no bond is his mental condition. That has to be explored.
Yes.
His mental condition. What was
absolutely
at the time that he committed this offense? It's stated in the statute. It's 2937.22. I believe it's C3, the character, physical, and mental condition.
C3PO, the character.
The defendant or the accused. That's at issue.
I believe that the witness indicated that his opinion was that the act was intentional.
Right. And
oh, sure, yeah.
Thinking about whether or not it's intentional, you need to know the mindset or the mens rea of the person that you're claiming intended to do this. Was he in his right mind?
Oh, I like this guy.
With respect to your bond determination.
I'll sustain the objection.
Rodney Hinton is currently being held without bail. His case will be presented to the grand jury. Hamilton County Prosecutor Connie Pillich has indicated she will likely pursue the death penalty. Larry Henderson had retired in December from the sheriff's office. Where
I think we should pursue what they call jury nullification. Rodney Hinton Jr. did nothing wrong. We're back live in New York City. This is the pro-Palestinian protest going on outside of Columbia University. I believe the police buses have left now. They've probably detained all of the demonstrators. Dozens of demonstrators occupied a library on the campus of Columbia University. Dougie, good evening. The library is to the left here where they're putting up these barricades. The police buses were like right where this shot was looking at. They've left. The protest seems to have gone down this street here. This is the live shot. Let's see if the reporter has not. This is that cute cop I was looking at earlier. Not the dude on the right. See, she got dimples too. Oh my God. No, don't zoom in. Boo. She was adorable. I'm in lust is what it is. A fleeting moment of passion. We could never work out. We're from two different worlds, no matter how pretty her eyes are. I am a horn dog, I guess. You think I'd grow out of it? This is a live shot with the protest. The Status Quo channel. I mean, here's the thing is, as I get older, like food and other things probably take precedent off of over pussy. Shut it down. They got a good little turnout. They've got a good 100 people marching. No, that's more than 3 dozen. Well, there's quite a few behind. There might be a couple hundred. And this is towards the end of the demonstration. And the campus of Columbia is like it's got a nice square around it. It's perfect for marching like this. Yeah, they got a couple hundred there. And once again, this is towards the end of the protest. The police have already dispersed the crowd. These are the people that are left. So they probably had a few hundred, maybe 1,000 or so earlier. I mean, this is one of the issues of our time. On the other side of the country, we have damage caused by students on the University of Washington campus at the engineering, apparently $1 million worth of damage caused at the engineering building. University of Washington.
The damage is significant, and the University of Washington is declining to do any sort of on-camera interview about their response or any future protests. On the surface, the UW still shines bright from the mountain to the fountain, but it's a darker picture inside the sparkly new Interdisciplinary Engineering Building, or IEB. Broken windows, glued and unhinged doors, and a machine lab heavily damaged with targeted messages left behind. After a group of black-clad protesters and vandals took over the building. These CNC manufacturing tools are so new, you can still see the bubble wrap on them, the tags as well. Vandals came through, smashed one here, smashed another one over here. And according to the University of Washington, this will take more than $1 million to replace. The university won't answer questions about it and hid behind this written statement from University President Ana Maricase saying it was no peaceful protest. UW police took a pass. Hi, it's Chris Daniels from Como News. I was just looking to talk with maybe the PIO about what transpired last night on campus. Referring to university spokesperson Victor Balta. Yes, I know who Victor is. Who also stayed behind a keyboard at Gerberding Hall. Hi, it's Chris Daniels from Como News looking for Victor. Yeah,
Chris thinks he's hot shit.
Already, so I'm happy to leave a message. And asked for written questions, as the university community could only wonder. It says closed. And argue about yet another destructive event on an otherwise peaceful campus. So what do you think about all that?
I don't think it's really okay.
Boeing is using students' work to build weapons, weapons that are then being used on the occupation and the genocide of Palestine right now.
A debate that will likely continue.
So it's not like they just, targeted the engineering building for no reason. It has ties to the very planes that are dropping bombs, the very munitions that are killing people in Gaza.
Victor Balta of the University of Washington finally responded to that list of questions, 10 questions, late this afternoon, and said the university was unaware of any planned protest or the blockade inside that building. He also tells me via email that the university values its relationship with Boeing, a company, by the way, that spent $10 million to build that new engineering building that was damaged last night. He also says that any student that may have been involved will face an immediate suspension. Mary?
Chris, going back to the vandalism, this is a brand new building. How long will it be closed?
Again, according to Balta via email, that building will be closed through at least the end of this week. But you can see by the damage, especially in that machine lab, it looks like
Boeing.
The building will be at least out of commission through the end of this year.
I agree with that message on the wall. Oh, Boeing kills. Boeing kills. Go back to New York City, where students, the campus of Columbia University, took over the library and staged a demonstration. This was the sights and sounds earlier.
Palestinian protesters have stormed Columbia University's Butler Library.
Okay, Fox 5's Linda Schmidt's live outside the campus in Morningside Heights. Linda, what's the situation like right now?
Okay, it's one of those typical situations that we have seen many times before here at Columbia since last spring. But David, I want you to just pan over here so we can see a whole big group of police officers. Do me a favor, just slide out of the way here. Lots of NYPD gathered here outside Butler Library here on the campus of Columbia University, as well as campus security. David, you can go ahead and come back to me now. what we are waiting for, this is the back entrance to the library. They have been bringing some of the protesters out here in handcuffs, handcuffed behind their back. They are not being arrested by the NYPD. Instead, they are being arrested by public safety officers. Now, those public safety officers were hired by the university. That was one of the requests by the Trump administration if the university wanted to have its $400 million in federal funding restored. Now, go ahead, take a look at this video here, because this is video that was posted on X from some of the students who were inside Butler Library when the one room was taken over by about 100 masked protesters. That happened about 3:15 this afternoon. Now, this is, keep in mind, students here are studying for finals, and this is what was going on starting at about 3:15 this afternoon. Now, let's take a look at the chopper footage here. This is outside Butler Library, which is on campus, and you can see there's probably a group of about 100 students, some of them wanting to get into the library in order to study, but then there's some scuffling going on in the group there because some of the protesters ended up coming outside the library and interacting with the students who wanted nothing to do with this demonstration. In addition, we've got some video here. This is just one of the protesters who was arrested, again, by public safety officers here at the campus. And we're not sure if the people being arrested or any of those protesters, we're not sure who is a student and who is not at this particular time. Now, Columbia University issuing this statement, quote, "It is completely unacceptable that some individuals are choosing to disrupt academic activities as our students are studying and preparing for final exams. These disruptions of our campus and academic activities will not be tolerated. Individuals found to be in violation of university rules and policies will face disciplinary consequences." And again, as I said at the top, this is something new. The university now has new rules as a result of demands from the Trump administration in the Trump administration's attempt to cut down on anti-Semitism and to eliminate it here, not just on college campuses, but across the country. One of the rules is you're not allowed to wear masks anymore on campus here for a protest. So everybody that was part of that protest group, they all had masks on. They were in violation of the university policy. Also, obviously, you are not allowed to take over any of the buildings, any of the rooms, any of the living quarters here on campus, period. So now we're going to have to wait and see the disciplinary procedures, what's going to be happening next, and what is exactly going to happen with these protesters if they are in fact students. But again, this is still going on. Most of the students have been brought out, the protesters. They are either on campus or they have been taken away in handcuffs. Back inside to you.
All right, thanks, Linda.
Let's not lose sight of exactly what they're protesting, especially in the face of Israel's disgusting proclamation a day or two ago that they plan to reoccupy all of Gaza, seize all of the territory completely.
The humanitarian situation is absolutely drastic because of the Israeli terrible siege on Gaza, which has lasted already 65 days. 65 days, not a single piece of bread or a glass of water or any medications were allowed into Gaza. People are starving in Gaza. We already lost 59 children who died because of starvation. We have 70,000
Palestinian politicians
now suffering from malnutrition, and the 2.1 million.
Just call him a politician because, you know, it's not really a functional government.
This is total inhuman policy by the Israeli side, and it is practically a war crime using starvation as an instrument of war.
And the Israeli government has announced that it intends to intensify the bombardment. How are Palestinians feeling about the prospect of being moved again and coming under more intense bombardment?
The most recent Israeli declaration reveals very clearly that the real intention of this whole war since the very beginning was the total ethnic cleansing of Gaza. And what Netanyahu declared is very clear. He wants to erase to the ground all of Gaza Strip and then push everybody to a concentration camp in the south of Gaza and then start putting people in the most difficult conditions, starving, and then trying to force them out of Gaza in an act of ethnic cleansing that is the worst in the modern history. And that is happening while the whole world, unfortunately, is watching. And this is happening because President Trump encouraged Netanyahu to go in that direction of ethnic cleansing. Just imagine if all of Victoria in Australia would be erased to the ground and everybody in it will be ethnically cleansed into another place, another country, actually. That is the reality of the Israeli plan.
The International Court of Justice is currently considering that claim of genocide brought by the South African government, and there's been no finding on that yet. But there's obviously a terrible situation there in Gaza. The Israeli government argues it's just after the release of hostages. What do you make of that argument?
Mr. Netanyahu and his government, which can only be described as a fascist government, do not care about the Israeli hostages. If they cared about them, they would have accepted the deal that was proposed by the Palestinian side, which includes the total release of all hostages immediately and a complete ceasefire. But they don't want to stop the war. They don't care about the Israeli prisoners. And they know very well that the continuation of bombardment all over Gaza will mean killing also the Israeli hostages. This government is a very dangerous one in Israel. And they use the excuse also of eliminating Hamas to eliminate all the Palestinian population, the 2.1 million people in Gaza Strip. And let me remind you, they are also conducting acts of ethnic cleansing in the West Bank, which is not governed by Hamas.
Yes, they are.
Also in the West Bank, they are destroying homes, houses, burning them, destroying refugee camps. It's a total terrible policy that is combining three war crimes at the same time: the ethnic cleansing, the genocide, and the collective punishment, including starvation.
So the Israeli government has announced it intends to intensify the bombardment after Donald Trump's visit to the region. Are there some people, though, who just will not move again despite the warnings?
I think this is just a game from the Israeli side to let the Trump's visit pass and then continue the war. As I said, this Israeli government has only one target, which is the total ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, not only from the West Bank, but also from, not only from Gaza Strip, but also from the West Bank. The whole world community is watching now the collapse of the international law, the collapse of the international humanitarian law. As a matter of fact, what's happening in Gaza is dangerous not only for Palestinians who are losing their lives, including 62,000 Palestinians who were killed in Gaza and including 18,000 children who were killed by Israel. But more than that, this is a threat to the whole world. It means that the whole order that was created after the Second World War, including including international law, including human rights, is all about to collapse because of what Israel is allowed to do, to be punitive to international law and to be above the international.
In terms of that international law, as I mentioned before, there is a case of genocide being brought against the Israeli government. The International Court of Justice is considering that at the moment. There hasn't been a finding on that. What else can the international community do? What else are you calling on the international community to do?
Well, the International Criminal Court concluded that there were war crimes and concluded that the Prime Minister of Israel and his ex-defense minister should be arrested and handed over to the court. Now, as I know, I was trying to organize a visit to Australia. Australia is committed to the ICC resolutions. So it would be totally unacceptable if he's allowed in, as Hungary has done, or as the United States of America is doing. In reality, the case of genocide is fully proven because of the so many arguments and documents that were presented to the ICJ. And I hope that the International Court of Justice will conclude very soon its decision. They already concluded that a possibility of genocide is there. And what we see here, what we see in ourselves, what we see among our people who are killed and injured and the total destruction of Gaza is only indicating that there is a case of genocide. What the world community should do is to immediately impose sanctions on Israel till it stops this atrocity, till it stops this war.
Yes.
Not only for the sake of Palestinians, but also for the
love of God, my country stopped selling fucking arms to them.
Continuation of this terrible massacre. Only Netanyahu and his fascist government.
Do you hold any hope that this impending visit by Donald Trump could lead to some sort of ceasefire?
I am not really sure because, unfortunately, President Trump has encouraged the
I hope Iran carries out its plans.
ethnic cleansing when he spoke himself about emptying Gaza from its people and transforming it into a new Riviera. He is encouraging Israel by providing it and supplying it with weapons, with guns, with terrible bombs. Israel has already used no less than 100,000 tons of explosives provided by the United States and some other Western governments to destroy Gaza. This is about 50 kilograms of explosives for each man, woman, and child in Gaza. So we don't see any sign that President Trump is ready to exercise pressure on Israel to stop this war. Maybe if the other countries of the world, including the Arab countries, would tell him that the American interest itself will be affected unless this war stops, he maybe could change his position. But for the time being, the whole world, the whole international community will be considered responsible for the act of starvation, for the act of collective punishment, for abstaining from doing anything to stop this terrible humanitarian crisis in Gaza and this terrible war crime against civilian population there.
Okay, Mustafa Barghouti, thanks for talking to us from Ramallah.
Excellent interview. Amazing that I had to go to Australia to find something worthwhile to say about this. We're going to check back in with the protesters. Kind of dissipating a little bit. This is live in New York City, the Status Quo channel. Earlier, demonstrators occupied the library at Columbia University. Looks like they may be coming back around towards the library. As I said, it's one big square around Columbia. New York City Mayor Eric Adams had a message for the parents of the protesters. Let's go to Mayor Adams that was on NBC4 out of New York. WNBC.
I have to talk about a number of topics. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being with us. And we want to start with that protest at Columbia. A group of protesters has entered Butler Library. They're refusing to leave. The situation is escalating with pushing and shoving right now. This is finals week. Graduation's a couple weeks away. So has the university reached out for help from the NYPD?
RB, welcome in.
Approach this, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I got packable.
Unacceptable. We are in communication with the staff there, and NYPD is on its way. And I want to say to parents, if your children are on the Columbia campus and participating in this, I think you should reach out to them. This is not what you...
I've endorsed Zoran Memdani.
Going inside a library and protesting in this manner.
I know, I'm nobody.
Engagement with the college. They have...
Hope you're doing well, RB.
NYPD is en route.
Oh, they're en route. They're en route to that scene now.
Yes.
Is that how I understand? Okay, thank you, Mayor. Mayor Adams, you know, you recently celebrated this drop in crime citywide, something that you've campaigned on, you've talked about so much. At the same time, there's these high-profile incidents like the gang attack on cops in Times Square, where the suspects turn out to be repeat offenders with long rap sheets. Often they end up...
A 12-year-old. One of them was a 12-year-old.
I know a lot of the legal challenges are out of your hands. But you run the city, you want to continue to run the city. What can you do to fix the recurring problem here?
Yeah, and
repeat offenders, long rap sheets. It was a 12-year-old.
Last quarter,
One of them
lowest
was.
number of shooters in recorded history. Do we have these high-profile cases with 8.5 million people? Yes. What you expect from the police department is to make apprehension. We did it immediately. A large number of gang members who not only assaulted police officers but carried out about 20 robberies in this city. Repeated offenders, some of them were arrested 8 and 9 times. We're doing our job, and that is apprehend, keep the peace. Now it's time for the other part of the criminal justice system to do.
And one of them was 12.
Judges, making sure we don't have these repeat offenders coming on our streets.
And Mayor Adams, has the Trump administration relayed to you that they'd like to accelerate the pace of deportation from New York? And if so, how would the city be involved in that?
No, we have not received any communication of that magnitude. The law is clear of what we can do and what we can't do. We collaborated with the ICE and HSI and others when we took down 27 gang members that were known for sex trafficking, carrying.
Byronic, welcome in.
But when it comes down to deportation, the law does not allow a city employee to collaborate on deportation.
Would you like to see that law changed in the city?
There's many laws I would like to see. I would like to see us expand how do we deal with people who commit crimes. Those individuals who are doing right, serving the city, trying to pursue the American dream, like many immigrants have done before them. I'm in support of that, and we're going to continue to be supportive of those who are law-abiding citizens. I want to go after those who are going after innocent people in the city.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
So they transitioned from the protest at Columbia University to immigration enforcement. Here's a good one for you. Here's a wild immigration enforcement story. Do you know CBS News' Nora O'Donnell? ICE raids the Washington, D.C. restaurant owned by Nora O'Donnell's husband. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents conducted a raid at Chef Jeff's, a Washington, D.C. restaurant owned by Jeff Tracy, husband of CBS News anchor Nora O'Donnell. The New York Post reported that the raid occurred on Tuesday as part of a broader crackdown on illegal migrants. ICE agents arrived at the restaurant around 10:30 a.m. requesting to see workers' I-9 forms to verify their eligibility to work in the United States. No arrests were made at Chef Jeff's during the operations. They're just going in, terrorizing random people. I wonder if this was targeted. Did they know that it was Nora O'Donnell's husband? They wanted to send a message. They're all about sending a message to the media. The New York Post also noted that while some restaurants received advance notice of the inspections, others were informed that ICE would return in a few days to inspect the forms. Yes, they are absolutely petty bitches. Did Homan or Kristi Noem see a report on NBC that upset them? Decided they would pull this stunt? Once again, going back live to New York City. We're live with Status Quo. I said it was dissipating, but it still seems to be going strong. There's still well over 100 people there. Israel conducting a strike on Yemen, saying they disabled their main airport. Objectively, welcome in.
All right, now we want to pivot as we bring you developments out of the Middle East. Israeli forces say they've carried out airstrikes over Yemen's capital this morning, targeting the city's international airport. Now, this comes after Israel carried out airstrikes on Yemen yesterday. You're looking at the aftermath. This was in response to a missile attack launched by the Iranian-backed Houthi rebel group over the weekend near Ben Gurion Airport. For more on this, let's chat with CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio. Looking at him, joining us from our London bureau this hour. Ramy, good morning to you. What more can you tell us about what seems to be an escalating situation between Israel and Yemen's Houthi rebels?
Yes, escalating tit for tat, Errol, here. The IDF confirmed that it did launch what it calls a wave of
tit for slap. Is that what he said?
Destroyed the Sana'a International Airport in Yemen's capital. The military there says the airport is now completely disabled. This airport is Houthi controlled, and social media posts claim to show explosions, plumes of smoke there in that area. The military also says that it hit several power stations around the area and that a concrete factory was hit just north of the capital. The claim there by the IDF is that was used to make infrastructure.
I'm sorry, I had every intention on not doing a show because Curiouser and I were running around and I thought I was going to be rewiring shit. That didn't happen though. The stereo deck that I thought I had did not work for my purposes. And then Curiouser was like, I'm going home, because I was like, don't come all the way over here and then not hang out. You're like, no, I'm going home. You do a show.
For the Houthis.
I'm sorry. I try to be regular.
Any injuries or deaths just yet out of this incident?
Like your bowel movements. I try to be regular.
People around the airport to evacuate, so there was a warning there.
But sometimes you eat too much
cheese.
cheese.
To see this as retaliation, as reaction to what happened on Sunday. That was the Houthi missile strike on Ben Gurion Airport in Israel. That had never happened before. That missile managed to evade Israel's high-tech Iron Dome system. Several people were wounded in that strike. Ben Gurion, the only international airport that serves Israel, pretty much if you go in through air, you will land at Ben Gurion. Many U.S. and European airlines canceled their flights, and those haven't resumed so far. But to your point, escalation continuing from Sunday through Monday with that port we saw as you just opened this segment, and then now we have this strike on that airport.
Yeah, serious developments indeed. Ramy Inocencio across all of it. Ramy, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Go back to Colombia. I assume it was targeted, RB. Carla, welcome in.
On the ground.
We've been covering the protests at Columbia. That was a live shot. Students occupied the library at Columbia University. Dozens of people arrested. I'm going to say around 75. We know 50 were, but that was the last reporting. They arrested several others after that. I'm going to say around 75 arrested for occupying the library at Columbia University. We covered Israel and its plan to just annihilate Gaza and take it over. That protest still going on currently. Quite the turnout, actually. The arrest happened maybe 2 hours ago, 2.5 hours ago. They had at least a couple of 100 people as of earlier. Might have thinned out just a little bit as the night goes on here. That's live outside of Columbia University. They're marching around the square. Columbia is just one big square inside of New York City. One of the other stories internationally we need to be keeping an eye on is the war that's breaking out between India and Pakistan, because they are two nuclear powers, and this is something that goes back like fucking centuries. This one's rough.
Pakistan's Prime Minister has accused India of igniting an inferno with the missiles it launched at his country overnight. Shehbaz Sharif said India had made a grave mistake for which it will now have to pay the price. At least 31 people were killed in the overnight attacks. India says it was targeting what it calls terrorist infrastructure in 9 different locations. The Indian strike.
Girl the Grey, welcome in.
Pakistani shelling across the line.
Buy one up, tip one back.
Which India says killed between 10 and 15 people.
The smoldering remains of a home. Shell casings from last night's gunfire, mixed with broken bits of people's lives. Villages like Salamabad, along the line of control in Indian-administered Kashmir, pounded overnight into the morning, as India and Pakistan exchanged artillery fire.
That is not the kind of pounding you want overnight and into the morning. There are plenty of poundings that you do want overnight and into the morning. This is not one of them.
Reporting dozens of casualties on both sides. Many of the injured residents from Salamabad were brought to this nearby hospital. One of the burned down homes we saw earlier belonged to Badruddin Naik and his family.
Me and my children had barely enough time to run after 2 Pakistani shells landed in the middle of our home. You've seen our loss. We have nothing left.
India under pressure domestically to respond to last month's attack when gunmen opened fire on tourists in Indian-administered Kashmir. 26 people died. The deadliest attack on civilians in recent years. India blaming militants operating in Pakistan, an allegation Pakistan denies.
India exercised its right to respond and preempt, as well as deter more such cross-border attacks. These actions
This doesn't sound familiar at all.
were measured, non-escalatory, proportionate, and responsible.
And this was the response. India says it targeted and destroyed 9 militant training camps operating in Pakistan-administered Kashmir and beyond. Pakistan says dozens of civilians were killed in those attacks. Calling the military action an act of war, it is vowing retaliation.
Pakistan reserves the right and will respond to this aggression at a time, place, and means of our own choice.
As border towns and villages like Salamabad lay abandoned, people in the region are left hoping that this brings recent tensions to an end and not merely the beginning of a longer and more protracted conflict. Samira Hussain, BBC News, New Delhi.
The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, said the rising tensions over Kashmir will be of serious concern to all communities in Britain. Like others, he is encouraging dialogue and de-escalation. Our diplomatic correspondent, James Landale, is with me. Donald Trump has also weighed in tonight. There's always a risk, James, in these circumstances that a response leads to an escalation neither side can stop.
Yeah, and that's the question everybody's asking tonight is how does Pakistan respond and what response does it provoke from the Indians? The question, of course, is whether they can control what's called this escalatory ladder. Both sides seem to think they can. They both seem to be saying, well, we're being measured, we're being non-escalatory. The risk, though, is one that the Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, and others...
War machine.
Which is one of miscalculation. Because if that happens, there is a risk this spirals out of control.
Once again, foreign affairs, not really my thing. I think this is an ethnic thing. I think this is like Muslims are a minority population in India and Hindus are a minority population in Pakistan. And I think it's something to that effect. I might be wrong. I wish Boy Meets Minnie was in here. He would quite possibly give us a much better insight.
and then you end up with a regional.
Yes, I'm not high enough for this shit.
With allies piling in on both sides, or even worse. Remember, we are talking about two countries that possess nuclear weapons, at odds over one of those militarized regions in the world. And there are two other factors making this harder. One is you've got two wars already in the Middle East and Ukraine. That is distracting the international community. Most leaders today have been saying, well, appealing for restraint and not much more. And secondly, you've got the United States seemingly unwilling to engage diplomatically. Normally they've played a mediating, restraining role in this conflict. As you said, President Trump tonight said merely, and I quote, "If there's anything I can do to help, I'll be there." It's not exactly proactive. So you've got a distracted international community.
What does that mean?
You've got rising nationalist rhetoric from both sides. So it's clearly a very, very serious situation, and the stakes are high.
James Landau, thank you.
Oh God. The current president probably not going to be any comfort. Perhaps the previous president could provide us some comfort. Joe Biden giving this is his first television interview since leaving office. Are you ready for this?
What did you make of those scenes in the Oval Office? President Trump and President Zelensky.
I found it sort of beneath America, the way and the way we talk about now that well, it's the Gulf of America. Maybe we're going to have to take back Panama. Maybe we need to acquire Greenland. Maybe Canada should be. What the hell's going on here? What president ever talks like that? That's not who we are.
What?
We're about freedom, democracy, opportunity, not about confiscation.
I can hear your passion. I can hear your anxiety that the world is changing the way it has. And for a long time you believed, you said, I'm the man who can stop Donald Trump. And you did once. And in the end, you withdrew from that election campaign at the last minute. It's a question lots of people ask you, Mr. President. Did you leave it too late?
Yes. God damn, he did.
Given someone else a bigger chance.
I don't think it would have mattered. We left at a time when we had a good candidate. She was fully funded. And what happened was...
And she lost.
I had become... What we had set out to do, no one thought we could do. And become so successful in our agenda, it was hard to say, no, I'm going to stop now. I meant what I said when I started.
What?
I'm prepared to hand this to the next generation. It's a transition government. But things move so quickly that it made it difficult to walk away, and it was a hard decision, but
regrets though?
No, I think it was the right decision. I think that
no, sir, the right decision. Oh. The right decision would have been to not run for a second term at all. Have an actual primary. We would have been in a lot, but we probably have a Democratic president right now if that had happened. Honestly.
It was just a difficult decision.
God damn. Remember last week when I did the story about an airplane falling into the ocean? I saw somebody tweet out, I think it was on Twitter. It was like, what if there's some... Oh, no, it was a Jon Stewart joke. Glad there's nobody at the bottom of the ocean that could use an airplane to... Oh, my God! Apparently, we just keep sending airplanes down to the bottom of the ocean. A second one has fallen off of one of our aircraft carriers.
The U.S. military is awash in red ink from the loss of another multi-million-dollar fighter jet in the Red Sea. Officials are investigating a landing that went wrong aboard the USS Harry S. Truman. The aircraft carrier has been running an airstrike campaign against Yemen's Houthi rebels, and Charlie Daggett reports this is the latest in a string of mishaps.
Defense officials tell CBS News that the F-18 Super Hornet was coming into land when something went wrong, sending the $67 million fighter jet overboard into the Red Sea. Both crew members ejected safely and were rescued. Former Pentagon official Mark Kansian said the conditions were especially challenging.
How difficult is
Something's going on
the deck of an aircraft carrier?
It's very difficult, and it's particularly difficult at night during conflict.
Mostly in the airplanes.
It's the second time in just over a week the Truman has lost an F-18 after one went overboard when the carrier made a hard turn to avoid Houthi fire. The Truman has been leading a heavy bombing campaign against the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels, which has launched over 1,000 strikes since March. The carrier has been at sea for nearly 8 months. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has extended its deployment twice.
What kind of impact does that have on a crew?
They're tired, but they should be able to handle this.
A third F-18 was lost in December when it was accidentally shot down in a friendly fire incident by another Navy warship. And this past February, the carrier was damaged when it collided with a merchant vessel near the Suez Canal. That accident led to its commanding officer being fired.
In your experience, have you ever known a deployment like this?
I don't think so. This is really unusual.
And Charlie, those 3 planes are not the only losses that have been experienced in this campaign. Also, Reaper drones have been taken out of the sky.
Yeah, well, the Pentagon says the Houthis have shot down 7 Reaper drones at a cost of around $30 million each. They operate at around 40,000 feet. The Houthis claim to have taken them down using their own surface-to-air missiles based on Iranian technology at a fraction of the cost of a Reaper.
And before I let you go, Charlie, what happens to the planes that are in the water?
Yeah, so if possible, the fighter jets will be recovered. When an F-35 crash landed and went overboard in the South China Sea 3 years ago, Navy salvage teams recovered that aircraft.
We're just throwing airplanes in the water all the time.
To make sure that technology did not fall into enemy hands.
What a world we live in. This is just absurdity. Who has money on Trump becoming the Pope? If he's going to be the Pope, it's apparently not happening today.
It was 9:01 this evening at the Vatican when the first smoke...
Shut up, Lester.
...the Sistine Chapel. Black. No Pope. After 3 hours of craning their necks and aiming their phones towards the chimney...
No, I don't want no Pope.
...of St. Peter's Square.
Pope for me is a big old nope.
The cardinal electors began the day with a special mass at St. Peter's Basilica before walking in procession to the Sistine Chapel, a sea of red. With a Swiss guard protecting the door, one by one,
Ed ego, Timothy Cardinale Stolen.
Each of the 133 cardinal electors placed a hand on the book of the Gospels and swore an oath of secrecy in Latin.
Extra omnes.
Then everyone else was ordered out, and the doors were sealed. Our only indication of what happened next, the black smoke that rose into the evening sky. Sean McKnight is the Archbishop Designate of Kansas City, Kansas.
What do you want to say to the new Pope?
Well, I'm looking forward to a Pope that's going to lead the church effectively in this time that we are living, and who has a history of being a good, effective leader, but also one who understands the need for transparency and accountability in the church.
The electors will return to the Sistine Chapel tomorrow morning. They'll vote up to 4 times each day, burning their ballot.
In case you weren't here the other night, one of the cardinals had been defrocked for diddling kids. He was standing over the Pope's or the previous Pope, the old Pope, dead Pope, the Pope's body with his vestments on. And that was just like a big F-U. So accountability in the church, you say.
Well, it's twice a day as millions around the world watch for black or white smoke.
Besides the white smoke and the ringing of the bells, my strongest memory of covering the last conclave was the sight of the streets of Rome being quickly filled by people who had heard the word that a new pope had been elected. It was a river of people filling St. Peter's Square.
Why the fuck did they? Well, I mean, I assume Lester would like this assignment to go and cover the Pope. You get to go to Italy. Yeah, that's better than going to Gaza or which is far more important. Better than going to Gaza or going to fucking Pakistan, right, Lester? Another reason why Lester needs to shut the fuck up.
People looking at the balcony, waiting to see the appearance of the new pope.
Laura Schuberg says she booked a flight from the U.S. as soon as the conclave was set.
My goal is to just plant myself in St. Peter's Square and stare at that chimney until we see white smoke.
Are you prepared for this to go on for several days?
Our flight's on Monday, but I'm telling you, if for some reason it goes longer, we're canceling those flights. We are staying in there until we see white smoke.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about
Shut
breaking news
up,
and time.
Lester. I had to say it like 5 times during that story. I like the show the other night. We didn't have a single Lester clip until like the very last clip. And I'm like, this is the perfect show. I had to say, shut up, Lester, right at the end. Trump apparently is angry about this 60-minute interview that he's suing over being nominated for an Emmy. And apparently we got a clip of Colbert. Hopefully I don't get copyright. This is from Fox. No, this is the end. This is the reporting. Trump filed a lawsuit against Paramount Global, CBS News' parent company, in October. President Donald Trump lit into the Emmy nomination for 60 Minutes interview at the heart of his massive lawsuit against CBS, saying today it was another reason for media distrust. Trump is seeking $20 billion for what he alleged was election interference with how CBS edited its interview with then Vice President Kamala Harris in the days leading up to the 2024 presidential election. The Harris segment earned an Emmy nomination in the Outstanding Edited Interview category, outraging critics and, not surprisingly, Trump himself. CBS aired 2 different responses by Harris to the same question on 2 different nights of programming, which turned out to both be part of one lengthy response to the same query. In a total slap in the face to anyone who believes in truth and honest journalism, this fake news puff piece has now been nominated for an award by the totally discredited Emmys. Did 60 Minutes and its corporate parents apply to get an Emmy for an illegally falsified interview, or did other fake outlets nominate them for this dubious honor? There's no way Trump said dubious. These antics are why the American people have no trust in the press and demand that the media, very much including 60 Minutes, CBS, and its owners, be held responsible for their corruption and lies, which is exactly what we are doing in court. The lawsuit has drawn extensive attention, with critics of Trump expressing concerns about the First Amendment government overreach. Senator Bernie Sanders and other... the Twitter Files people are awfully fucking silent about this. Senator Bernie Sanders and other Democratic senators have openly lobbied CBS parent Paramount not to settle the case and give Trump a victory. Legal experts say it's a slam dunk for CBS. The Emmy nomination for the controversial interview raised plenty of eyebrows. The irony is some folks at 60 Minutes are popping champagne over an Emmy nomination for the same interview that landed them in legal hot water. It's a reminder that these awards are voted on by other journalists, not the public, not their bosses, and certainly not lawyers. A source familiar with the inner workings of CBS News told Fox Digital. The two sides have entered mediation in the suit, which is occurring in the backdrop of a planned multi-billion-dollar merger between Paramount Global and Skydance Media. Meanwhile, Trump would like everyone to stop asking about tariff deals. Trump now wants everyone to stop asking when the trade deals are coming. Trump and his team were touting all the countries eager to make deals with the U.S. on trade. They changed their tune when it became clear such deals wouldn't materialize quickly.
Meet the Press. Krista, good morning. It's great to see you. You traveled down to Mar-a-Lago for an extensive sit-down interview with President Trump. You're going to get into all of that on Meet the Press this morning, but I'm curious about what he had to say about the possibility of triggering a recession with this trade war and the tariffs that Warren Buffett was just talking about.
Willie, so great to be with you. That was one of the big focuses of our conversation. I have to tell you, President Trump in this wide-ranging interview, it lasted a little over an hour, was adamant and defiant that his tariff policies ultimately will be good for the U.S. economy in the long run. And I asked him, look, will you be okay if the economy dips into a recession in the short term if ultimately you are able to achieve your goals? He said, anything's okay. Yes, that's okay. The country will be okay. Ultimately, it is a really fascinating defense of his tariff policy. He also...
It's not a defense. He's just bullshitting. He's just full of shit. He's just constantly full of shit. It's not some grand plan to defend his policy. He's just brazenly full of shit. This is maddening.
He believes are signs that the economy is strong right now, including that better than expected jobs report on Friday. The fact that the stock market, in the wake of dipping initially on the news of his tariffs, has rebounded. And the fact, he says, ultimately he thinks that this is going to be bringing more money into the United States. So really defiant there. Willie, we also talked to him about this ongoing back and forth with the Supreme Court over the issue of due process, and that a person who was brought here, who is here, I should say, illegally, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, does he believe that he deserves due process? How does he perceive his relation?
He doesn't. Just a few weeks ago, Donald Trump and the White House were boasting that his tariffs would force a legion of foreign nations to rush into new trade deals. But Trump has changed his tone and his tune in recent days, as it has become clear that the trade agreements don't materialize as quickly as he would like, and that there aren't dozens in the queue. His shift also comes amid heavy criticism that his tariffs will hike prices for consumers and harm an American economy that had its first negative growth in years in the first quarter. You keep writing about deals. When are you going to sign one? It's very simple. We're going to say, in some cases, we want you to open up your country. In some cases, we want you to drop your tariffs. So I wish they keep, stop asking how many deals are you signing this week, because one day it will come and we'll give you 100 deals. They don't have to sign. Apparently it was Trump who set this 90-day clock. It is maddening. It's just like they treat it like, oh, well, it's a defense of his blah, blah, blah policy. It's not. He's just brazenly full of shit and says whatever the fuck. And a sign that the economy not doing so well, despite the better than expected jobs report. By the way, they revised the jobs report down, and it was better than the revised down numbers, just to be clear. Still below what they projected it to be when Biden was president. Just throw that out there. The Fed says they are holding interest rates steady, defying pressure from Trump.
Economy to bring to you now. The Federal Reserve leaving interest rates unchanged as expected. The Dow not moving a lot on the news. Right now it's up about 0.5% as we look at the big board. Our business correspondent, Alexis Christoforous, joining me now. All right, rates are unchanged. What more do we know from the Fed?
Right, Kira, no surprise there. Baked into the action on Wall Street today was no change in interest rates. What is changing is the Fed's statement about the economy, and I want to read that statement for you. By the way, this announcement to keep interest rates steady was unanimous, so all Fed policymakers are in agreement that now is not the time to be cutting interest rates. The statement reads, uncertainty about the economic outlook has increased further, and that the risks of higher unemployment and higher inflation have risen. So basically, the Fed, for all intents and purposes, is in a really tough spot, sort of a lose-lose scenario. Do they cut interest rates and risk inflation getting out of hand? Do they wait to see if the economy slows down so much that then they need to raise interest or to cut interest rates? They're going to be data dependent as they always have been, and it looks, as according to this statement, as though the
Globus, welcome in.
Hard data.
What that Fed be doing?
So President Trump has
just
been
chilling.
urging Fed Chair Jerome Powell
Ain't
to
doing
cut
shit.
rates, which obviously didn't happen. What do you make of the pressure on the Fed chair?
Take no action.
All along, when asked about this, Jerome Powell has reiterated that the Fed
Are you trying to get somebody to redeem the no cursing?
Doesn't need to or listen to the
Boo.
the White House or anyone else in politics, and that they need to make the best decisions for the economy. And again, in this statement today, the Fed talked about its dual mandate, which is keeping prices low and having a situation of full employment. That's really what the
He's
Fed
not, Flash. He was appointed by Trump the first time.
days, though, Trump has sort of backed off talk about firing Powell. There's even a question as to whether or not he has the ability to do that. But he did say, look, he won't be in there for long because Jerome Powell's term as Fed chair is up in May of next year. Let's not forget, though, during his first administration,
God damn it,
actually appointed Powell to this very position.
Well, when do you think the Fed could actually cut rates, Alexis?
I'm just going to throw this out here. The other night, I had the 10 minutes, and I kept violating it. I got close one time and had to reset it. I got like within 3 seconds and fucked up. God damn it. I don't think I ever actually completed the 10 minutes the other night. I think just one of the times I just didn't reset it. So sorry about that. I don't think I ever got through it. I kept having to reset.
And I'm sure that will be asked of Fed Chief Powell when he has his press conference in less than 30 minutes from now. I can tell you what the market's thinking. After we got our strong April jobs report, there was just a 28% chance, the market's putting the odds at 28%, that we get a rate cut at the June meeting, and then a 75% chance that we get a rate cut at the July meeting. Overall, Wall Street is still betting we could get 3 interest rate cuts from the Fed at some point this year. But again,
they feel it's going to soften
what the Fed sees in terms of inflation and an economic slowdown.
All right, Alexis, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
That's what that means, I'm pretty sure. They feel like the economy is going to slow down, so they're going to have to cut interest rates. Yes, Jerome Powell, a Trump nominee. Trump nominates the best people, much like his Surgeon General nominee. We got a new nominee now, Casey Means. This is within like the last hour. Casey Means is now the Surgeon General nominee after within the last few hours Trump had to withdraw the first nominee for Surgeon General. President Trump has switched up his pick for U.S. Surgeon General, tapping best-selling author and wellness influencer Dr. Casey Means in place of his initial pick, former Fox News contributor Dr. Jeanette Nashwalat. Nashawat. That's Nashawat is probably it. No, that's an I. I'm sorry, that's not an L. Nashawat. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop now. Nashiwat withdrew her nomination following scrutiny over how she had represented her medical credentials. In an announcement on Truth Social, Trump said that Means will work closely with our wonderful Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., to ensure a successful implementation of our agenda in order to reverse the chronic disease epidemic and ensure great health in the future for all Americans. Dr. Means has catapulted into the Maha Spear over the past year alongside her brother Callie Means, a prominent advisor to Secretary Kennedy, following the publication of their book, Good Energy. So they're grifters is what it is. Both siblings often rail against the influence of the pharmaceutical and food industries in their many appearances on podcasts and other platforms. In their book, Casey Means describes how she became disillusioned with medicine's failure to adequately address the most pressing causes of chronic illness in the country, including diet and the lack of movement. After attending Stanford Medical School, Means pursued a surgical residency at Oregon Health and Science University, but dropped out before completing the program. She went on to start a functional medicine practice. What in the fuck does that mean? God damn it. And founded the company Levels, which offers consumers continuous glucose monitors and an app to track their blood sugar. Her website also markets various supplements and personal products. She has raised concerns about some vaccines and the immunization schedule and what she called corruption at the FDA. Last year, Means was one of the speakers at the highly publicized roundtable on American health and nutrition hosted by Senator Ron Johnson, which featured Secretary Kennedy, Commissioner of Food and Drugs Dr. Marty Malarkey, and other well-known allies of the Trump's Maha movement. I believe this is Casey Means because that's old Megyn Kelly. Do we have interviews with her? Let's find out. It's about this time last year. This is Trump's pick for Surgeon General.
There was a paper in JAMA. 6,300 participants followed for 10 to 11 years. And the people who simply walked 7,000 steps per day compared to...
Let's go here. Processed foods.
On food, not just macronutrients, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, not just calories, although that as well, but things like timing, things like...
Sports cards, welcome in.
And micronutrients, which I think is a highly underexplored topic. So with respect to food, gosh, I feel like we've all been exposed to pretty much every variation of...
This feels like something Dave might watch.
Calories in, calories out. And by the way, I believe in the laws of thermodynamics. So yes, total caloric load matter.
If you have to tell me you believe in the laws of thermodynamics, there's a reason somebody has questioned you not believing in the laws of thermodynamics.
Total energy expenditure matters without question. Within the framework of not consuming excess calories, there's a lot to explore, however. I can just say for myself, for what it's worth.
Is that the name of this dude?
I'm not very hungry until
Huberman?
11 a.m., noon or 1. I'm okay not eating until then, and just, water, electrolytes, and caffeine does me just fine. I can exercise, etc. But once I start eating, I really enjoy eating, and I mostly like the proteins.
Me too, brother.
Eggs.
Me too.
I like cheese and vegetables and carbohydrates.
Cheese, yeah.
Fruit and all of it. I like all the stuff.
I like food. I like all the foods.
Or few ingredient foods. I just naturally do. So I've been lucky in that way. But I know a lot of people like sandwiches, processed foods, things that are combinations of ingredients. What
are you talking about, like bologna?
About kind of...
I think bologna's nasty.
I won't say optimal, but if one were going to explore different ways of eating for sake of adjusting these biomarkers in the right direction and improving metabolic health, is there kind of a generic jumping off point. Would most people, for instance,
I think that's a problem with factory farming,
cut
RB.
back on the total number of sugars, or the total amount of sugar, rather, perhaps reduce the amount of carbohydrate?
It's another one of those that just comes back to capitalism.
Protein. I mean, are there generalizations that we can make, or is it really all just about not getting excessive calories and trying to get those calories from the most nutrient-rich sources?
Well, just drilling in on two things you just said there. So one thing you said that was
once again, this is Trump's
lucky that you
new pick to be Surgeon General.
And then the second thing was, is it just about
within the last hour he has nominated her?
What's interesting about both of those is that I would argue that the reason you like those foods is because
they're good.
You have given your body enough whole, real foods that now everything in your biology, neurobiologically, your reward circuitry, your microbiome, your satiety hormone threshold, all of these are now basically
satiety hormone
in which you like those foods. And then the caloric thing fits into that because
but one, he said like every food. He said every food.
Nutrition is happening. And
he said he liked all food.
Quite literally in the United States, eating ourselves to death for the first time in human history is because we're not eating real food. And we're eating 60 to 75% of our calories of ultra processed, nutrient depleted foods that fundamentally don't give our cells what they need. And a real premise that I think is so important to realize is that our cells are brilliant. And if the cells aren't getting what they actually need to function properly, they will drive you to eat until they get their needs met. Unfortunately, because the ultra-processed food is designed to be highly addictive and it's devoid of what the cells actually need for good function, we end up eating ourselves into a grave. And now almost 80% of Americans are overweight or obese. Close to 50% of the country is obese. We literally gloss over this as a culture. It has become so normal in such a short amount of time. But I always think about the fact that, like, there are really no other animal species in the world that have obesity and chronic disease epidemics, and they don't have.
There's no other species in the world that is living as long as us that has because like chronic diseases are caused by the fact that we live longer. We have different lifestyles. We have abundance. I hate to use the word abundance. That's a kind of a buzzword right now. Ain't no other species been to the moon. Exactly. I don't know. She doesn't seem like a total quack. I guess that's a low bar in our current political environment. She doesn't seem like a total quack. Thank God. But we all also only watched a couple minutes of her. We're going to go to North Carolina, where a Supreme Court race was still in the balance. Court decisions had to happen, but finally the Republican has conceded.
Tonight, the final uncertified race in the country from last year's November election is over.
Republican Judge Jefferson Griffin is conceding his race for a Supreme Court seat against incumbent Democratic Associate Justice Allison Riggs. This is after a legal battle to overturn the election. Capitol reporter Dina Harley joins us live now in Raleigh. And Dina, Democrats say the 6-month back and forth should have never happened.
Yeah, they say they are happy and relieved that Griffin is conceding this race. They're happy that it's happening now after that 6-month legal battle. But they did tell me that they're worried about that legal battle and the precedents that will set for elections moving forward across the entire country.
I think everyone across North Carolina, regardless of what political party you're a part of, should be happy today.
Relief from Democrats on Wednesday as Republican Judge Jefferson Griffin concedes the November election after a 6-month-long legal battle to overturn the results of his race for a Supreme Court seat against incumbent Democratic Associate Justice Allison Riggs. In a statement provided by his campaign, Judge Griffin says in part, quote, "While I do not fully agree with the district court's
Of course you don't.
I respect the court's holding, just as I have respected every judicial tribunal that has heard this case. I will not appeal the court's decision, end quote. Democrats are happy with the end result, but worry about election integrity moving forward.
Republicans have already set a precedent.
She can be my judicial
We
mommy.
understand that now, looking across the country, people can say, okay, we can take up to 6 months to deny an election, to potentially delay results like that.
North Carolina GOP leaders denied our request for an interview, but in a statement say in part, quote, Judge Griffin deserves the appreciation of every North Carolinian for highlighting the appalling mismanagement, inaccurate data, and partisan behavior from the prior State Board of Elections. Failures affirmed by multiple courts, including the highest court in our state, end quote.
North Carolina GOP highly corrupt.
Said that she is honored to have led this fight across North Carolina, but she echoed that same sentiment that this should have never happened. Right now, that election is set to be certified by next week. In Raleigh, Dina Harley, CBS 17 News.
It's been a long process. All right, Dina, thank you.
Fayetteville Fire.
All right, we're going to get into, well, we did some crime earlier. We started off with crime. We kind of went through the politics and got back into the crime. We're going to do a little more crime. You want to stick around. This is quite the night of stories, I must say. We're going to go to Philadelphia, where a fight on a high school campus led to a cop getting shot somehow. Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events.
We have some breaking news
some
here
shit.
this afternoon, bringing us on the
God damn it!
Early today, a Philadelphia police officer has been shot in the line of duty. This happened just before 2:45 this afternoon. Here, the 1900.
I was right fucking there. I was right. It was like 3 fucking seconds.
Block of 59th Street in Overbrook. We are told the officer was shot in the stomach and rushed to Penn Presbyterian Hospital in critical condition. It is a Wednesday afternoon. Again, we're coming out a few minutes early this afternoon. I'm Brian Taft.
And I'm Christy Aletto. The big story on Action News is the breaking news that we are talking about in Overbrook. We're told at least one person is in custody in connection with this shooting.
The scene incredibly active right now. We just got new video that shows how all of this unfolded in real time. Action News' John Paul.
I'd say I've got a video if they don't show it.
And you spoke to the person who shot it.
Yeah,
what can you tell us?
Brian, I did. I mean, basically, they told me it started out as a fight right here in front of Overbrook High School. So here's Overbrook High School. We know Superintendent Tony Watlington just went inside. He's being briefed. He's going to address the media shortly. The shooting happened just over there where you see all the officers gathered. This is 59th. I'm at Turner. It is 1 block over. That is where the shooting happened. Now, the video.
Did you say Ike Turner?
All the chaos leading up to it.
Why would you name a street after Ike Turner?
Pause now so you can see for yourself. So you can see it was a large fight that happened right outside of the school just after the kids were left.
Oh, Nat Turner. That makes a lot more sense.
As a fight, and then at some point there was a shot fired and an officer was apparently hit. Now, I did talk to some officials with the...
I mean, somebody taking a beating on Ike Turner Boulevard, kind of a little more fitting, though, isn't it? Ow!
Clear. This was not something that was perpetrated by a student. That is according to officials with the Philadelphia School District. They just went inside those doors to be briefed. Again, they're going to be coming out to tell us more about this, but this whole area here is shut down while police investigate. They have not given us any information at this point as to exactly what went on here, and I'm not even sure if they've seen the video yet that we just showed you, because we just obtained that from a witness who was here. She doesn't go to the school. She was walking by, saw the fight, started recording, and that is what we're showing you right now. But that is the latest from the scene here. When we get some more information, we're going to bring that to you. Also, when the superintendent comes out and briefs us, we're going to try to bring that to you as well. But that is the latest that we have right now. Again, an officer shot here outside of Overbrook High School. It happened just after the bell rang. When we get more, we'll bring it to you. We're live in Overbrook. John Paul, Channel 6 Action News. Brian?
Yeah, John, that's a critical piece of information you passed along. That I do not believe a student was involved in that shooting. That obviously opens up a whole number of questions as to who actually...
The shooting that happened outside of school.
But as we look at that video, John, we see a large number of police officers already on the scene.
Right.
You may not know the answer to this, but is it your understanding those officers were called in response to that fight, or they were already there when the fight broke out?
Yeah. Great question, Brian. Now, I have been here when school lets out. There is
So, Flash, I believe you might be right that he shot himself, given the way they covered this.
usually a large police presence, and that is what I have been hearing from multiple people who witnessed this. They say police were already here when this fight started. They went in to try to break it up. At that point, all the details get murky. They're not exactly sure how a gun got introduced to this situation, but at some point, as you saw from that video, chaos broke out, a shot was fired, and that officer was hit. There it is.
Yes.
Again, you can see just how chaotic it is.
Yes, totally. The cop shot himself.
Break it up. At that point, all the details get murky. They're not exactly sure how a gun got introduced to this situation, but at some point, as you saw from that video, chaos broke out, a shot was fired, and that officer was hit. There it is again. You can see just how chaotic it is, and that's going to take police a while to investigate this, Brian and Christy, because there are so many moving parts. There were so many people involved in that fight. There were so many officers there at the time, so I imagine it's going to take quite some time before they can get some concrete details to give to us, and that's why we really haven't heard anything from officers, only that one tidbit of information that came from Monique Braxton with the Philadelphia School District that no students were involved in the shooting. So that is the one.
Let's take the full video and see if we can determine more about what happened.
Outside Overbrook High School right around dismissal time. It is a busy day today. This is the Fox 29 News at 5. I'm Sheba Russell.
And I'm Dawn Timoney. Sources telling us that police officer is in their rookie year. Our crews are at the scene.
Oh, I thought we had the full video.
Where the
Never
officer
mind.
was rushed for treatment. So we'll start with Chris O'Connell. And Chris, has there been an arrest yet?
This is an update, though.
We do know there was someone in custody, Dawn. More on that in a second. But first of all, that 19th District Philadelphia police officer is at Presbyterian Hospital. He is in critical but stable condition. Our colleague Steve Keeley will have more on that from the hospital in just a little bit. But this all started as a shooting as kids right outside of Overbrook High School were getting out of school for the day. Take a look behind me here on Lancaster or on 59th Street here, 59th and Oxford. All started around 2:40 when police responded to a fight near the corner of 59th and Oxford. We're about to show you, Fox 29 was provided eyewitness video of this shooting where we're not going to hear the audio, but you do hear the gunshots and the chaos.
I bet it was one of the cops' guns.
Single gunshot.
As they were tussling.
Students and others scramble away. Police were right there, actually took one person into custody. We are not sure.
But they didn't even do anything.
Was involved, if there were charges. Now, all of this happening right outside of Overbrook High School on a sunny spring day, 2:40 in the
Beautiful day.
This is just when kids
The
were.
beautiful day here. Was it a beautiful day where you guys were?
Philadelphia's school superintendent Tony.
Like, today was the perfect day.
We actually saw him just a.
I think it got like 67, 68.
We spoke with a number
Sunny.
of witnesses, including an 18
Nice breeze.
right in the middle of it.
It was started off as a girl fight, but the girls was big. I'm gonna keep it being. It was big. They was trying to fight the other little girl, but she was little.
Were the two girls from the high school?
I love this dude.
Came up to this joint.
There you go.
No, two girls was from here, but the other Jones, they came up here. I ain't gonna lie, they was big. I don't know what school they go to, but.
That was awesome. That's what eyewitnesses had to say. They had to believe him a few times. Love it. Love it. All right, sticking with the shit. I gotta. Oh, God damn it. Again. Sticking with the stories that I have to hit a content warning for. You know, when we're going to the Isaiah factor, it's going to be wild. This is our boy Isaiah is going to break down these two women that were dead shortly after going viral for twerking.
Thank you and welcome to The Factor Uncensored for joining us tonight. First up, 2 death investigations underway, the first in Atlanta. According to USACrime.com, a woman named Maya died during a night out with friends. Now, officials report it is not available just yet, but the website says a victim was twerking in front of a vehicle her friends were inside of. Someone behind the vehicle or the wheel then drove over her, killing her, dragging her body off the vehicle and leaving her body behind in the middle of the road. And in Missouri, another case, an 18-year-old named Nyla Simmons also killed. Investigators say Simmons was dancing on top of an SUV when she fell off of the vehicle, followed by a fire truck running over her, killing her just seconds later. People have been talking about both of those reports on social media, along with this video. It was reportedly filmed in a Lululemon store, featuring alleged strippers shaking and twerking in the store. This has been heavily criticized. Lululemon's CEO previously said the brand isn't for certain customers, which many assumed that was code for excluding black people.
Wait a minute. What does it have to do? Just because the stories have twerking in them. It's 3 twerking stories. I hope everybody washed their ass.
Life is too short to walk this earth.
Nyla Simmons also killed. Investigators say Simmons was dancing on top of an SUV when she fell off of the vehicle, followed by a fire truck running over her and killing her just seconds later. People have been talking about both of those reports on social media, along with this video. It was reportedly filmed in a
Guys, it gets crazier.
Featuring alleged strippers shaking and twerking in the store. This has been heavily criticized. Lululemon's
I'm telling you, I have one of the best stories I've ever done on this show. Locked and loaded.
Which many have assumed that was code for
waiting for you guys here in just a little
some
bit.
People struggle with a craving for public attention to the point it puts their lives at risk or even their digital footprint at risk and, of course, in some cases, self-respect. Joining us to talk about it, therapist Dr. Nick Hardy and Factor social media producer Ajibola Budaran. Glad to have you here on The Factor Uncensored. First of all, Aji, what have you been able to find out about these 2 deaths, both very tragic, both young women dancing on vehicles and, of course, met a tragic end?
Yeah. Well, I think for both of these stories, they kind of are looked at slightly different. So I know in the first story, the family member and the friends of the young lady, they were talking about her being concerned about who she was out with and like her friends, because in that case, we don't know if they did it on purpose or on accident, but you have a case where somebody behind the wheel who's supposed to be her friend, and maybe they're having fun, shooting videos, outside dancing, and all of a sudden you have a young lady who's deceased. So I think
it looked purposeful.
That's a tragedy that definitely could have been avoided. We don't know. The family doesn't even know what case the friends played in it.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the other one, that was just something where we talk about, a lot of people are saying like, you're doing these things for attention and you do things on the internet for attention, but it can lead to you losing your life. So you have a young lady who's on top of a car dancing and they're stopped at a light, and when they take off, she falls and there's a fire truck coming behind. So I think a lot
of people twerking get me more followers?
As avoidable tragedies, they didn't have to happen.
I've twerked on stream in the past.
Both of these instances, do we think the intent was to videotape, film these incidents?
No, me twerking doesn't get me more followers.
Social media.
I mean,
specifically me, right? Other people twerking.
Yes, because there's no, you can say, oh, I'm doing this for fun, but when you're talking about being on top of a car or twerking and dancing and kind of being in public spaces like that, 9 times out of 10, people are videotaping it. We've seen those videos on social media already where people are doing dangerous things, and it's like a thrill. And when other people see
Did the car ram her right in the ass? She was bent over, wasn't she? She was presenting.
I mean, more often than not, I would say yes, because there's no, you can say, oh, I'm doing this for fun, but when you're talking about
boom, right in the asshole,
being in public spaces like that, 9 times out of 10, people are videotaping it. We've seen those videos on social media already where people are doing dangerous things, and it's like a thrill. And when other people see it, they're gonna respond to it and like it, and be like, oh, I might try it too. So I think that in this,
she was bent over right in front of it.
you have young ladies or just people in general seeing things on the internet and wanting to emulate it and recreate it because they're seeing other people get positive responses from it.
As a digital producer here at Fox, are you ever surprised at what you see people posting online?
I wish I could say yes. I'm never surprised anymore because honestly, every single day is something different. Whether it be a fight,
you're telling me, brother,
doing anything. I think the internet has kind of become a place where everything can.
Just you wait. You know, you guys don't even know what I have in store for you.
Whether it's anything. So I think nowadays people see everything as content.
All right, Dr. Nick Hardy, your thoughts about this? Young people
twerking
themselves in sometimes dangerous, even deadly situations.
I am pro rump shaking
on social media.
Yeah, I think, I think attention is a drug. And I think to get attention, you almost have to do more and more outlandish things. And I think, unfortunately,
pushing that envelope.
Pushing the envelope, you know, and because it's addictive, you know.
Oh my God, this is Dr. Nick.
Comments you get. You know,
hi, everybody.
Is, you know, releasing.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
At certain times. And so I think the behavior escalates. And no one thinks that it's going to end tragically.
Right.
I think that's the thing, because we make so many decisions a day, and 99.5, you know, times it doesn't lead to this. But I do think we make
99.5
on an ongoing basis.
He made that up at the spur of the moment.
Of being in these unfortunate situations.
The sperm of the moment.
And Najee, before we get to run out of time, let's talk about the Lululemon situation where the individuals videotaped themselves in that store. Your thoughts about that, and what are people saying?
What's to have thoughts on?
Layered situation. I think something that I've been thinking about with all of these is I think that these online trends, sometimes people forget that they exist outside of context, and they exist outside of like what we deem as
big booty hoes. I'm with it.
Talk about Lululemon as a brand. They've been enamored in a bunch of controversy over the last few years, whether it be
let me see you touch your toes,
ableism in terms of like body types that they want in their outfits. And I think because of a trend of a song that's talking about Lululemon, a lot of black young people, women and men, are promoting the brand through social media videos and things like that. So I think it's one of those things where people don't always know the context of things. So those young ladies, they might not know that Lululemon has been wrapped up in racist claims and other things like that. They're just trying to have fun and dance, but there's context.
No, I think that was actually a protest, wasn't it?
They have a responsibility of knowing before they give a company like that publicity.
Well, I mean, I think this is a place of business. And so I think at a baseline, I just think it's inappropriate, whether it's Lululemon or any other establishment. I mean, people are in there shopping, and you can just see, I mean, this isn't something that I would want to see if I'm walking in there with my kids.
Right.
And so I don't think them knowing that or not knowing that should have any effect on it. I think they just shouldn't
do it.
in
Bottom
public.
line. Thank you both for joining us here on The Factor tonight. Still.
The Isaiah Factor, always crazy ass stories. This cop in Las Vegas, he apparently lied. The guy on the left, that was like the digital producer for Fox. I don't remember what his name was. The guy on the right was Dr. Nick. The guy on the far right was Isaiah Factor. This woman in Las Vegas was apparently being arrested by a police sergeant. The sergeant lied.
Good evening. A Henderson police sergeant use of force against a woman be called into question. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Denise Valdez.
And I'm Brian Loftus. Now, body camera video obtained by the 8 News Now investigators appears to be different from the sergeant story.
Vanessa Murphy has this story you'll only see on...
Surprise, surprise!
Henderson Police Sergeant Scott Allward responds to a call about an alleged combative woman, and this quickly escalates. The 8 News Now investigators obtaining this video from sources who want to remain anonymous but are concerned about what they believe is
oh my God!
We dug deeper, and in this report, Allward writes he believed she was...
He straight up just knocked her out. Knocked her the fuck out, I can say now that my 10 minutes is over. There was no reason whatsoever.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining this video from sources who want to remain anonymous but are concerned about what they believe is excessive use of force. We dug deeper. And in this report, Allward writes he believed she was going to spit in his face and used his open palm to strike her in the upper chest to redirect her body and the
wow. She should have spit in your face.
Allward's body camera video to confirm his version of events. What we don't see is this woman trying to spit on him.
Get over to my car, do it now.
Let's start from the beginning.
Follow simple instructions, go to the front of my car, do it now.
She does not immediately comply.
You're going to get taken to the ground if you don't listen to me right now. Get to the front of the car, do it now.
What the
Turn towards me. What are you doing? Get on the ground, roll over. Roll over. Roll on your stomach, do it now.
Okay, let me.
Roll on your stomach.
Oh.
Control, Sam 2125.
Allward calls for help and asks for a lieutenant.
Put this hand out. Do it now.
Okay,
do it now. Stay right there.
Oh, Lord.
This was October 26th, a Saturday afternoon. The call stemming from a park near Boulder Highway and Basic Road, the woman's sister telling police she battered her. Allward notes in his report she appears to be agitated and under the influence. He also cites her propensity for violence. After he strikes her, he states he used his knee to pin her shoulder to the ground. She refused to show her other hand tucked under her waist. He claims there was a sharp pencil where she was laying and where she was concealing her hand.
What?
We are unable to see a pencil in this video.
A pencil?
Okay. You should turn towards me. Just make sure you take pictures, please.
Allward's report states the pencil was booked into evidence and 2 witnesses confirmed the woman didn't comply.
You don't have to force me.
Wow.
Medical attention, and according to the video, Allward did too.
Any injuries? No.
Allward has been involved in several police shootings.
Oh, surprise.
Were unarmed.
41 shots fired.
One of them a teen who was running away. Allward was promoted from officer to sergeant. When we requested Allward's use of force record, the city initially told us it doesn't have that. Then that changed and we received this list. What it doesn't appear to include is this October incident. But the city of Henderson isn't always transparent. There's the revolving door of police chiefs, no reason provided for the most recent firing. And it is a challenge getting public records. We requested this body camera video in February. We didn't receive it until Wednesday. The city redacted the officers' faces, but not the woman's. The 8 News Now investigators tried reaching her. We were unable to track her down. Court records show she was convicted of 2 misdemeanor charges, including resisting an officer.
Get to the front of the car, do it now.
So she was doing nothing wrong. She had no other charge. The only thing she was charged with was that interaction. Are you kidding me? I hope this woman is a millionaire. Sue the city. And it's a shame that us as taxpayers, we had to keep paying out for these horrible officers.
Challenge getting public records. We requested this body camera video in February. We didn't receive it until Wednesday. The city redacted the officers' faces, but not the woman's. The 8 News Now investigators tried reaching her. We were unable to track her down. Court records show she was convicted of 2 misdemeanor charges, including resisting an officer.
Get to the front of the car, do it now. Turn towards me.
Vanessa Murphy, 8 News Now.
Henderson says the incident was investigated by internal affairs and, quote,
they did nothing wrong,
unquote. They did not say if the investigation resulted in any disciplinary action or reprimand.
Honestly, Flash, that is disgusting. Possibly one of the only justified shootings we've ever seen on camera. Now, there's been others. But like the most justified of all justified shootings, and she's going to get a payout, or the family's going to get a payout. It is disgusting. But hey, maybe these two workers can sue this church. The church probably got a lot of money. They were working on the church roof and got electrocuted.
We're back now with an update on that breaking news that we brought you just a short time ago. 2 workers are dead after coming into contact with a power line. It happened a short time ago on Allentown Road in Camp Springs. News 4's Paul Wagner has made his way to that scene. He's joining us now live. Paul, what do we know at this hour?
Sure, nothing officially. I'm on Allentown Road here, a couple miles from Joint Base Andrews, and this happened at the First Baptist Church of Camp Springs. I've spoken with 2 witnesses to what happened. We're not going to pan over to show you the church right now because the bodies are on the ground. They're covered by sheets, but the sheets keep moving, and so we don't want to traumatize anybody if those sheets just blow up and you would actually see the bodies on the ground. But 2 dead. What we understand from eyewitnesses,
I mean, I've seen worse, I'm sure.
Fire department is that a little after 9 o'clock this morning, 2 people were up on the roof of the church here behind me, and they had a ladder extended up onto the roof. At some point, it appears as if, and we don't have this officially just yet, it appears as if the ladder may have made contact with the power line. And the witnesses described it just a horrifying scene after that. These 2 witnesses we spoke to pulled up on the scene. They saw fire coming from near the church. They stopped to think that they could help. They jumped out and they realized what they were looking at. And
charred bodies.
Realized right away that there were 2 people on the ground.
Barbecue.
And
God, I'm horrible.
Fire. And there
Cancel
were power
Justin.
lines on the ground. We know from people living here in the neighborhood that
Bound, welcome
in the neighborhood. It's unclear whether it's back on just yet, but the witnesses we spoke to said there was nothing anybody could do, and they were absolutely traumatized by it because they had to stand by and watch. They couldn't go near those power lines because they were still active, and it was. The people we spoke to were just absolutely traumatized by it.
I bet.
They would never see anything like this again. And it took about, according
wait till the Civil War starts.
Before the power company could get here, turn off the power, and then the paramedics were able to approach the bodies. But that's what we know about what's happened out here, at least right now, according to witnesses and 1 person with the fire department. We have 2 people dead, apparently working on the roof of this church here, the First Baptist Church of Camp Springs. So that's what I can tell you about right now at this time.
Paul, just very quickly, if I may ask, do you have any insight into if these were 2 people who worked for the church, were church members, or
like contractors?
Contracting company? Doesn't sound like they were with a power company.
1 witness told me there's a work truck here on the scene. I haven't been able to see it because of the position of that fire truck there, and we can't get past it. But there is a work truck here. It's unclear whether or not they have anything to do with the church itself. We do know that the pastor was called. The pastor came to the scene, and 1 witness said that
what the fucking pastor gonna do?
Came to the scene, and then upon seeing what
you pray for him,
fainted to the ground. So that's from a witness. Yeah, it's horrible.
She got the vapors.
Oh
my!
The worst that these people said was that they just couldn't do anything, and that's what bothers them tremendously. So
I can't begin to
that's
imagine.
About all I can tell you at the moment.
Paul, your crew was able to zoom in a little tighter there. We can see a little more closely to that truck that you mentioned. It looks like it may be a roofing or a siding.
The preacher, he ain't Jeebus.
Have been called out to help there. We're going to let you get back to work and make your calls. Appreciate all the information that you've brought us, and flag us if you have anything else. Paul Wagner, live for us. Paul, thank you.
Paul wagging it. What is wrong with me tonight? Jesus Christ. A woman in Las Vegas apparently leapt from her car on a freeway to escape an alleged kidnapping by her intoxicated partner.
Well, new details tonight into an incident where a woman jumped out of a car on Interstate 15. It happened just over a week ago.
News 3's Tiffany Lane has been digging into the arrest report that provides more details on the situation she was escaping. Tiffany joins us live now with more on that.
Yeah, we received that arrest.
Yeah, I'm not high enough for this shit.
It says that the suspect took his romantic partner into his vehicle, was taking her on the freeway, threatening her. Thankfully, she was able to make it out safely, even though she jumped out of a moving car in peak traffic on the I-15. Nevada State Police say it was here on the northbound I-15 at Flamingo Road where they received a call on April 25th about a woman trying to jump out of the passenger side of a black Volkswagen sedan while it was moving. The arrest report says that Ana Escobar jumped from the moving car after Jose Urias
Escobar
threatened to kill her. Escobar, an immigrant from El Salvador, says she came to the U.S. 3 months prior and has been in a romantic relationship with Vargas for a year. She said Vargas is an illegal immigrant from El Salvador who has family in Las Vegas. Documents show Escobar got a call from Vargas to meet at her workplace, Daisho Sushi, in the South Valley. The report says Vargas appeared to be intoxicated and got aggressive, reportedly, quote, upset with Escobar because a male coworker gave her a ride home after work the previous day.
He was the jealous type.
Vargas told Escobar he was taking her to California away from her friends and family, and when she objected, they say Vargas pulled a meat cleaver shown in this photo and he placed it to Escobar's hip.
Moving to California got an aching in his heart,
threatening to kill her and her coworker. Police say she called her coworker asking for help and threatened to call the police, causing Vargas to smash her phone. When they were northbound on I-15, Escobar jumped out onto the freeway as the car slowed down. Nonprofit SafeNest says they take about 20,000 domestic violence crisis calls a year, and many have to do with abuse in cars.
They can certainly be a mechanism for kidnapping or controlling a victim because you're in a controlled space, and especially abusive partners do things like put the child locks on. They can control that space.
CEO Liz Ortenberger says oftentimes people who see an incident can help without getting directly involved.
Calling 911 if you see something, guys, that looks weird. Like there's somebody fighting in that car, a window's getting broken out on that car, the survivors opening the door of that car. Absolutely, you can get involved without, putting yourself in harm's way by calling 911.
So Escobar was able to give a description of Vargas and his car to Nevada State Police. They followed him out of his home and pulled him over in an alleyway. And when they did, they found 2 large knives in his vehicle, as well as his 2 minor children. For now, we're going to follow this development.
Oh, wow, there were kids in there.
As they become available. Reporting live from near the I-15, I'm Tiffany Lane for News 3. Back to you.
So glad that she was able to escape and hopefully is now getting the help she needs. Tiffany, thank you.
Yeah, Vargas was charged with assault with a deadly weapon, first-degree kidnapping, and battery domestic violence for this alleged incident. He was also charged with driving under the influence and allowing child abuse/neglect for crimes found during the traffic stop.
Coming up.
Not the only story of someone jumping out of a vehicle. This time was to try to avoid arrest. This was a police chase in L.A. I think happened earlier today. Wednesday morning.
9:45 in Southern California. Rich Frickett in Sky 5 HD over. Is this the end of a pursuit, Rich?
Yeah, just now it looks like it might be coming to a conclusion here. LAPD Van Nuys officers are here right at Hatteras and Mammoth. That person you're seeing right on top of the shed
looks like the suspect
was leading them on a pursuit. And then turned into a residential area and bailed from the vehicle while the car was still moving, and ran into the backyard of these homes. And now it looks like officers were able to catch up to him. And
on top of the building was a dumb place to be.
We'll make our way around. But this suspect was wanted for grand theft auto. They were following the car for a short time before it decided to take off, and was going at a high rate of speed here on Woodman. And then turned into a residential neighborhood, opened the driver door, and hopped out while it was in motion. The car kept rolling. and ran into the backyards. But it looks like he's now being taken into custody, and we'll have to find that vehicle here to see if it crashed into anything, because it was still going when he exited the car. But suspect now in custody here, Grand Theft Auto suspect that was leading LAPD on a short pursuit. In Sky 5 and Rich Prickett. Send it back to you in the studio.
Rich, how far away is the vehicle now that we know that the suspect is in custody? Is it something we can see just to make sure that it hasn't caused any damage? Or
where is the vehicle?
Yeah, we're going to look for it right now. It was rolling for a while. From what I'm being told, it's underneath the trees here. But so he turned off of the major here, Woodman, opened the driver door, ran out from the moving car into the neighborhood, and the car itself
carried quite a bit of speed with it.
And let's see how far it made it look. That's quite a bit
right there. Goddamn!
But it looks like it came to a stop here. Maybe hit a parked car there. Kind of hard to tell.
Just another Wednesday in LA County. Yeah, this is probably not the only police chase that happened today.
He did a tumble when he exited the car. I'm sure we might have a shot of it.
At least they didn't bring in the fucking SWAT team like they did. What was it, last Friday?
Yeah. Okay. Well, Rich, yeah, it looks like it crashed into a car there underneath that tree. Hopefully, no one was injured.
It went for a while.
Right. Of exactly what Rich.
Are we gonna see him bail?
I believe on Woodman.
Do we have the video of it?
Relatively high rate of speed there, makes that turn. And then as Rich was saying, the person...
Oh, here we go. There they are. No!
Wow, as that car was moving at a pretty good clip there. And then when we caught up to Rich,
base planted
on top of a shed in a backyard here off of Hatteras Street.
And fortunately, police now have that suspect in custody. Rich Prickett, thank you for your work there. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Rich Prick. Thank you, Rich Prick. Mention Grand Theft Auto. I saw this and it gave me a tickle. Apparently, the new trailer is triggering people. Voted for this with an eagle and American flag profile pic, which could be a bot, honestly. This game is anti-cop. I'm not playing. You know, the game Grand Theft Auto. He says, this story looks anti-cop. Grand Theft Auto. I swear, if it ends up being anti-cop. When I first saw this headline, I wondered, was this Sparkles? Did Sparkles do this? A woman's road rage incident caught on camera. Apparently she pulled out a machete. Not once, but twice.
Tonight at 11, a woman armed with a machete in a tense road rage confrontation with another driver. And we've learned it's not the first time she's been recorded by another driver. Tonight, that woman with a machete is telling her side of the story.
She's been caught on camera twice. So she has threatened people with a machete at least 20, 30 times. If she's been caught twice, maybe more. Maybe she's broke 100 with it.
Tonight at 11, a woman armed with a machete in a tense road rage confrontation with another driver. And we've learned it's not the first time she's been recorded by another driver. Tonight, that woman with a machete is telling her side of the story. Eyewitness News reporter Jory Rand speaking.
Hey, Mark Brown.
Also to one of the drivers who recorded one of those road rage confrontations. Jory.
Yeah, Mark, this is turning into a bit of
any little thing. Let me get my machete out.
The other, but only one of them was armed with a machete, and it could have led to some really big problems.
Let's see. What's up? What's up?
A road rage altercation in Sylmar turns dangerous when a woman pulls out a machete.
The one that brought out. Look at you. Look at you. skin me.
It happened Saturday.
He laughed at her.
Say the other was to blame, saying they were the victim of aggressive and highly offensive insults, and both say they felt threatened.
I don't feel safe driving around here.
We spoke with the man that shot the video, who told us he fears for his safety and didn't want to be seen on camera.
For her saying that she'll skin me, that's when it turned into. I was like, okay, this isn't just road rage at this point. This is a direct threat.
It's also not the first time this woman has been caught on camera in an incident like this with the machete. This video was taken in Santa Clarita, though here all you see is the sheath, not the blade itself. We spoke with that woman named Andrea, who also didn't want to be seen on camera, but told us in a statement, "Let me set the record straight. There is no good from my actions. I take accountability for the fact that I let my emotions get the better of me."
I kind of like her too.
All I ask is that people refrain from making quick judgments based on a few seconds of video that don't reflect the full context of what.
Ma'am. Or they, perhaps they. I made a snap judgment based on what I saw, and I know I am correct. If you have been caught on camera doing it twice, you've done it dozens of times.
All I ask is that people refrain from making quick judgments based on a few seconds of video that don't reflect the full context of what actually happened. She continues, "It's also frustrating that so much focus has been placed on the fact that I had a weapon with me. Yes, I did, and yes, I showed it, but only because I felt genuinely threatened."
Just get out
Dude was laughing at you.
Become part of the problem.
ABC 7's law enforcement expert Bruce Thomas says this is a good example of what not to do in a situation.
Hey, Flash, you got your calipers?
If you feel threatened, even if you think you're 100% in the right.
She pulls a machete. What if this guy had a gun? And he says, "Hey, I was in fear of my life, therefore I shot her." The biggest thing is you have a cell phone. Dial 911. But for you to take independent...
I love her glasses.
...is just a mistake.
Look how cool she looks. Oh my God, did you guys see? She looks awesome. You never be that cool.
Cell phone. Dial 911. But for you to take independent action...
Machete woman with the cool glasses.
...mistake.
Setting yourself up for some problems. Just leave the area and call 911 if you're in a situation like that and feel threatened. Now, Jay filed a police report today. He says the officer there said it looked like a case of assault with a deadly weapon, but then you enter the self-defense.
Brandishing a weapon.
Self-defense argument, and Bruce says this is a case that might wind up going nowhere. We'll see if anything happens with the police department, but we have two.
Not assault. She didn't assault anybody, but brandishing a weapon.
And says that might not have been such a good idea. Reporting live tonight, Jory Rand, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, Jory, thank you.
Thank you, Mark Brown. Now, someone that did actually assault somebody was this guy at a Pirates game. Apparently, guy was acting out of pocket, and the Pirates employee decided to whip him with a belt. I think he showed restraint. The worker seemed like he's cool. I don't know why that dude had an issue with him. I've never in my life had an issue with somebody at a venue I've gone to. But some people just have issues. Some people just crazy. Some people might be off their meds. That might be the case with one Mr. Kanye West, who went on with Piers Morgan and apparently walked out.
What are you talking about?
Now you're not taking accountability or responsibility.
Literally.
This is what you get for now. We can circle back when you can count.
Okay.
Kanye West storming out of an interview.
I don't know what a sneako is.
Uncensored after less than 5 minutes in the hot seat.
Judge me by the view.
Well, the view is Mallorca. I've been there. It's a beautiful place.
Ye joining from a balcony in Spain with content creator Sneako. Piers saying he invited the rapper on his show to explain his recent hate speech and anti-Semitic behavior.
So by doing a swastika chain, it then ruffles some feathers.
But he couldn't get past the first question.
I watch what you put out on X. You got 32 million followers.
You're not gonna take inches off my bro. Like, how many followers do I have?
Well, how many is it?
You're not going to take inches off my dick? He's upset about followers.
You're not gonna take inches off my bro. Like, how many followers do I have?
Well, how many is it?
Oh, man. I bet. I bet ET claimed copyright. Which is weird because they're showing somebody else's fucking... They're showing somebody else's content. They're showing Piers Morgan. Boo.
I think you could do the study. You got a whole staff over there.
I'm told it's 33 million now, so congratulations. You're slightly bigger following than I thought.
Then Kanye, who...
Yeah. It's probably because it's, That's insane that they would claim that because it's somebody else's content for them that they're showing. Insane. Let's go find the original clip because I want to see him walk out. I want to see what triggered Kanye West. Is he saying he's doing it to trigger other people and end up he's the one that's triggered?
I watch what you put out on X. You got 32 million followers, so you're one of the most followed people.
See, wait. Now look right now. You're not gonna take inches off my dick, bro. Like, how many followers do I have?
Well, how many is it?
You get upset over somebody bringing up your followers. That's insane.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
Yeah, he apparently crossed over into 33. This is something I run into with right-wingers. I won't even mention having a YouTube channel or being a streamer, and they'll just click on my profile, automatically bring up my views. It's like their go-to thing. They're obsessed with views, and they can't wrap their head around the concept that I don't really care about the views. I like doing the show I want to do. If I cared about views, I wouldn't be doing this show.
Inches off my dick, bro. Like, how many followers do I have?
Well, how many is it?
I think you could do the study. You got a whole staff over there.
I thought it was 32 million. How many?
Do the study.
You obviously know.
I mean, don't help them out. You know they.
I'm told it's 33 million now. So congratulations. You're slightly bigger following than I thought.
No, congratulations. Your information is correct. You're not just some, dude trying to sub. I'm a gift, bro. You know what I mean? Why do all you people in media act like you haven't played my songs at your weddings or graduations or at funerals when your child was born? You take somebody that's living like a Lennon.
Brother, I have not played any of your music at any of those live events for me. Sorry, brother. You have the illusions of grandeur.
A Michael Jackson, and you just take all this time to just like...
He's a motherfucking gay fish.
It's idiotic. It just shows the hate that you put out for people that put love. There's so much love in the art that I put out.
With respect, so many, what are you talking about? I haven't said anything.
What are you talking about? It's 30. Okay, now you're not taking accountability or responsibility.
Literally, you said it. You implied I haven't played your music. Of course I played your music.
No, sir. This is
Piers Morgan's over here like, I ain't saying she a gold digger.
What you get for now. We can circle back when you can count.
Okay.
He accused Piers Morgan of doing that Steiner math.
35% chance of winning, and then add 66 and 2/3%. I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning.
There's nothing crazier. There is nothing crazier that I could play that could top that, right? We gotta end on Kanye West because there's nothing crazier than that. It's impossible for me to show you something crazier than what we just watched.
Hey, isn't this awful triplet? He's just getting home. Over by the Goodyear blimp finger.
Oh. Hey.
What?
I should you not come here.
Hello?
The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my God.
Her meth pipe. He's playing with the meth pipe right now. No, don't reach for it. That's evidence now.
Oh, I don't want him to have that.
That's why I'm gonna do it. Hey, buddy.
Huh?
It's okay.
Okay, you're on Arlington. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right across from my house.
Is that what that
A few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what she's smoking meth in.
Okay.
The raccoon's playing with her meth pipe.
All right.
Oh, there's no. He's trying to smoke it.
All right. Thanks.
There's no way. All right. Enough fun and games.
Here.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
Huh?
Oh.
Yeah, he's on his way here.
Keep an eye. She was trying to take the meth pipe out of the car. Just keep that.
She's trying to take it from the raccoon.
Over by the Goodyear blimp finger.
You want a methed out raccoon?
Hey.
What?
I should you not come here.
Hello?
The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my God.
Her meth pipe. He's playing with the meth pipe right now. No, don't reach for it. That's evidence now.
Oh, I don't want him to have that.
That's why I'm gonna do it. Hey, buddy.
Huh?
It's okay.
Okay, you're on Arlington. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right across from my house.
Is that what that
A few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what she's smoking meth in.
Okay.
The raccoon's playing with her meth pipe.
All right.
Oh, there's no. He's trying to smoke it.
All right. Thanks.
There's no way. All right. Enough fun and games.
Here.
Yeah.
Where's your dad?
Hey, isn't this awful triplet? He's just getting home. Over by the Goodyear blimp finger.
Oh. Hey.
What?
I should you not come here.
Hello?
The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my God.
Her meth pipe. He's playing with the meth pipe right now. No, don't reach for it. That's evidence now.
Oh, I don't want him to have that.
That's why I'm gonna do it. Hey, buddy.
Huh?
It's okay.
Okay, you're on Arlington. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right across from my house.
Is that what that
A few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what she's smoking meth in.
Okay.
The raccoon's playing with her meth pipe.
All right.
Oh, there's no. He's trying to smoke it.
All right. Thanks.
There's a fresh one too. The one he's got in his hand's been used.
All right. Enough fun.
The one the raccoon has is a fresh one.
Yeah.
You might be able to get a hit out of the one he had in his hand.
Huh?
Oh.
Yeah, he's on his way here.
Keep an eye. She was trying to take the meth pipe out of the car. Just keep an eye on her, real quick, Dad.
Hey, isn't this awful triplet? He's just getting home. Over by the Goodyear blimp finger.
Oh. Hey.
What?
I should you not come here.
Hello?
The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my God.
Her meth pipe. He's playing with the meth pipe right now.
This is your animal video for the day.
That's evidence now.
Oh, I don't want him to have that.
That's why I'm gonna do it. Hey, buddy.
Huh?
It's okay.
Okay, you're on Arlington. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right.
Twitch people, you're heading over to Echoplex Media.
Is that what that
A few minutes?
Yeah.
Go ahead, light one up, tip one back.
Okay.
The raccoon's playing with her meth pipe.
All right.
It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack.
Oh, there's no. He's trying to smoke it.
All right. Thanks.
There's no way. All right.
I'm Justin Freakin. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live.